Sifu? Have you not played anything else?
That's it, bro.
No,
I
dude.
literally
No.
had nothing. I literally had no time to play anything else. I forgot that I have a gift card that Tiara gave me to download fucking Pokemon. I have not done that yet
Wait,
because I
Pokemon
just been so
Legends?
yeah.
Shit, man. Yeah, I got Pokemon Legends sitting right next to me right now. Still in the wrapper. I bought it on Saturday, and I feel like a bad person because I'm like, is this going to be another game that I throw on the pile and never touch? And I need to make sure that doesn't happen, but I feel like it's happening right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I haven't really been in the mood to play Pokemon.
Well,
So
the thing is, I needed to jump in right away. I think the longer I've had it sitting here looking at it, the more I think about the game, the less I want to play it. I'm just, dude. I just like go look at screenshots of those drab environments that look like, you know, they don't have textures, and I'm like, as fun as the game does sound like an open world Pokemon game, at the same time, it kind of sounds like all you do is just run around and catch Pokemon, and that's like the whole game, and then you battle sometimes, and that's like it, you know. So I don't know. I just need to try it this weekend and see how I feel about it. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
But
'cause I
yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
are there any? Well, yeah, you can do the opening because this is our soft
Oh
opening.
yeah,
So
we're soft opening the
boom.
show. Hi everybody,
Yeah.
welcome to the Players Tag. This is episode 156. Can you believe we've done that many of these? This shit's crazy, man. We're fucking
Yeah,
old.
this is really crazy.
I'm your host, Justin DeSimone. I'm joined by my co-host. He is gonna buy the Lord of the Rings film and video game rights so that we never have to work again and we can just, live off crappy Lord of the Rings content for the rest of our lives. Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Oh man, yeah. So did you hear that the Lord of the Rings film and game rights are up for sale? $2
Really?
billion. Yeah, $2 billion. They're going up this week. Oh, that's Variety is reporting that.
That's weird. Well, I guess it's not weird because no one really made anything from it. Well, Shadow of War, but
Well,
that's WB
yeah,
though.
WB. They had the rights and they haven't done anything with them in a while, like a long time. So they like expired. And there was no indication that they were doing anything with it, so they expired. Yeah, and they're up for sale now. Apparently, Amazon is really interested. And I'm kind of like, man, why can't you just sell the video game rights separately? Because I don't want Amazon getting the game rights. I'm like they're not gonna do anything with it. It's not gonna be good, you know. Like give it to somebody
Well,
good.
uh, so far the people that made, or they're the people who made New World. That's what it's
New
called, right?
World and Lost Ark just
Yeah.
came out. Yeah.
So both of those games, actually, New World is doing a lot better than I thought it was doing. Like a lot of people
Yeah,
actually
but
like that game.
it's like not a good game though. Like New World is doing good in spite of itself because it's not really good. It has like a ton of problems, dude. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I just heard from the community that a lot of people like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lost Ark, a lot of people were waiting for that game.
Oh, we're gonna get
And
into Lost Ark.
okay,
I've played it.
oh, you played it? Okay,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I bought into the early access. We'll get into it when we get the games we're playing.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of funny though because they just did a trailer for the Lord of the Rings from Amazon.
Well, yeah.
This is such a nitpick. This is such a nitpick. I'm probably gonna be called an SJW for this.
Uh-oh.
Yo, where the fucking black people at? Like, it's a fictional.
I saw that take on Twitter, but, dude. To be fair to you, like they did say, didn't they say there was gonna be like black people in it, like a lot, like prominently? I remember them saying that.
I thought that was Game of Thrones.
No,
Game of
I
Thrones.
remember them saying that about Lord of the Rings, like this TV show that they're now in the middle of marketing for. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get the notion, right? That this is all based off of like fantasy and medieval fantasy and all that shit like that. And
Uh,
if we're going off of
no. Okay.
medieval, like
Yeah.
English times, like there
Yeah.
weren't that many black people out there. But
No,
these are
but see,
fictional
okay, well,
worlds,
hold on,
you
hold on.
know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This is where we're like
Yeah.
convincing ourselves that that take isn't like racist because to me, man, it's Lord of the Rings. It's a total fantasy world. Who cares? Like, what the fuck does it matter if there are black people in the middle of fucking Gondor? Like, what does it matter? Who cares? Like, just put them in there. Like, you have to create some geographical location that makes sense for black people to be there. Like, not really. Like, no.
And you
Like,
know what? That's
I
true,
don't.
right?
Yeah,
And
like
even though Elder Scrolls did create a geographical location for black
I
people,
think
the
a
Red
lot of
Guards.
fantasy does this. Like, dude, and it's kind of obnoxious actually at this point to me. Like, dude, Witcher does the same thing. There's no black people in The Witcher, and when you play the Hearts of Stone DLC, there's black people in that DLC, and they hail from some weird fucking land where they're wearing turbans and shit. It's like, why do we have to do it this way? I don't like just integrate them into the populace. Like, it does it really matter? Like, I don't think so.
No,
Like,
man, they gotta be accurate, man. They gotta be like,
yeah,
you
right.
know,
They wouldn't exist here because the sun wouldn't affect them in such this. It's like shut the like fuck off, dude. Like shut up. Like
but
nobody
guys,
cares.
we're not even black people, right? We're the Asian people at. But that's
True,
another thing, right?
true.
Every
Yeah,
time they put every time they put Asian people in like a medieval fantasy, they're always from some far east land.
yeah,
Like, I'm like,
yeah.
come on, bro.
That's absolutely yeah. That is absolutely true as well. It is. It's a little obnoxious. Like I think it. I think I don't know. There is like one piece of me that understands the idea that like if you throw all these races into one place, like and they're not geographically like diverse in some or like you don't have like different societies that these people come from originally in your world, maybe it won't make a little it'll kind of take you out of it a little bit, I guess, but I don't know. I think we're a little too precious about that. It's like like I just don't think it matters in the main, like especially for a television show. Maybe for a book, it might matter more because you're more that's more detailed, right? Books tend to be more like built up, there's more lore and shit. But I don't know for a
Yeah,
television show, like is anybody really gonna care? I don't
yeah. I don't know. It's just really weird at this point. Like, I'm just
know.
like, because now we know now that black people do love Dungeons and Dragons. We do love medieval fantasy stuff. Like, I can see if this is like 15, 20 years ago, we really didn't like people I knew,
Yeah,
but like the rest of the world really didn't know,
yeah.
right? But now that nerd culture is like kind of integrated and it's kind of accepted and everything, and they're accepting that black people are here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's far from a stretch that we can integrate some kind of like black people into medieval fantasy. I mean, we do it in sci-fi all the time. Like
Right.
sci-fi, there are tons of
Well,
like
dude,
different races and stuff like
because
that.
yeah, because think about it in sci-fi, right? Sci-fi is always a thing. Like when you have multiple planets, it's easy to just like the societies in sci-fi are always blended. Like
Yeah.
there's never this like distinction where like, oh, this planet, it's all white people. It's like, no, you never get that in sci-fi, So it's like it's almost like a built-in kind of I'm gonna sound like a fucking liberal here, but like it's almost like built-in racism to like the genre, like to fantasy, right? Like in
Well, even when they did try to do it in StarCraft with Sons of Coral, right? I think
yeah,
those were the people like
yeah.
they, you know,
You're
they had the Confederate flag and shit and every. You remember that? I was watching the movie. I was watching like the story breakdown
yeah,
for because
yeah,
I got
dude.
really bored and I was watching it and listening to it
Yeah.
while I was driving home,
And you were like,
and I
man,
was like,
no one
oh,
makes games like this anymore.
exactly. And I just so happened to while I was driving, so I happened to look at the screen too, and it was like it was a part where they blew up the satellite, and it
Mhm.
was a Confederate flag on the satellite. I'm
Yeah,
like, why the fuck would they have the Confederate flag way the fuck out here in space, like
yeah.
in the future? So, but
Commander, that's right. Them guys from like 300 years ago, they had the right idea, that we don't even have the United States anymore, but man, fuck them blacks, fuck. It's like what? It makes no sense. Oh shit, dude.
and I also have to remember too that before, not before, but the Confederate flag always been racist to me, but
Yeah.
I didn't know of people, even black people, because Little John's album, one of his first albums, like I think Kings of Crunk or whatever, it had the Confederate flag on the back, and it stood for the South because he was from the South.
Mm.
So I I understood back then, like it was either represented the South or represented racism, depending on who waved the flag. So that's why I was trying to give it a pass. I'm like, okay, I see where they're trying to go. Like these are like Southern, Southern space folk.
Yeah.
Like I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think to me, like the Confederate flag is it's racist. It is.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it just
yeah,
is.
100%.
Like
No,
look,
it
look,
definitely is now.
like
Yeah,
anybody from the South, I get it. Like you want to feel like you're part of something, bigger, maybe. Like oh yeah, we're special down here. It's like no, not. You're part of the United States. Like shut the fuck up. It's just like you're either part of the country or you're not. It's like and you are. So like we don't need these like these little breakdown sections of the country that feel like they're like part of this like movement together. It's like no. And in the case of the Confederate flag, it's not a movement you want to be a part of. So yeah.
Yeah,
Just do
exactly.
away with it, like goddamn.
So but yeah, Lord of the Rings, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the video games rights being sold. I don't know who they're going to get sold to.
I think Amazon's gonna gobble them up, dude.
I mean, I guess that makes sense if they already got the movie rights.
I'm sure they'll try to make an MMO out of it too.
Oh God!
Even though we already have one, but that one's like 15 years old. So
yeah, they're probably gonna shut that shit down.
Well, I don't think they can technically. So the game's still going, it's still operating. But anyways, we're gonna get a deeper look at that Lord of the Rings show on during the Super Bowl. There's gonna be a real actual trailer, so we'll see if we get any black people in it. I don't know, So we'll find out Sunday, I guess. All right, Montrell. Where am I? I feel like I'm like off. We started the show with a soft open, so I'm like kind of off. I'm off my game. I haven't done the rigmarole. Okay.
Do the rigmarole.
Hi everybody. This is the Player's Take, which is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And maybe soon, an additional bevy of podcast apps that I just added to our Buzzsprout feed. So, if there's any that we aren't on that you peruse, we may be on them soon. If you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter at The Player's Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And I do want to call somebody out here who said they were going to send us feedback this week, and they never did. DJ, I'm disappointed in you. I was looking forward to your critiques of our episode last week talking about Mina the Hollower, and you never sent that feedback to us. So get fucked, I guess. We were right.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna say some shit now.
Good. I want to speak to it. So yeah. Hopefully this motivates you to send it in for next week. If you do, we'll respond. So all right,
still get fucked.
No, we love you, DJ, but
I love you, DJ, but get fucked.
Yeah,
anyway,
fair enough. All right, Montrell. Let's start like always with what we've been playing. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I only got one game.
Okay.
I've been extremely busy these last couple of weeks, to the point where I've literally been coming home and passing out from exhaustion. But Sifu came out on Tuesday. I was looking forward to this game for a while, and this game is what I expected it to be and what I did not expect it to be.
Okay.
As far as beat 'em up. Yeah, as far as beat 'em up, kung fu action, it's there, and I almost don't want to classify this as a beat 'em up, but it is a beat 'em up. It's an action game beat 'em up. You got your set combos and things of that nature. You have your parries and your dodges, but it's so integral to what you need to do, and the death system is weird as fuck. Like it's something new that I've never seen before. So when you die, say like you finish a level, you have an age or whatever, and if you die, your death counter goes up, and your age will also go up as well. So if you die once, your death counter goes to 1, and then your age goes to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And if you die again, your death count goes to 2, and then your age goes to 23. If you die, your age goes to 26, and your death counter goes to 3. So, the number keeps stacking up until you get to age 77, and then it's end of the game. But if you think you won't hit that really quickly, you actually will, because the game is unforgiving. Holy fuck. I threw my controller at the ground at least 5 to 6 times. It's fucking unforgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say like Dark Souls or anything like that. It's just unforgiving. And then let's say if you finish a boss level, right, at age 56,
Mm-hmm.
you're going into the next level at age 56.
Yeah,
You would have to go back to the level
Mm-hmm.
again to complete it. You can go back to that other old level and you can complete again age 20. And you can try to beat that record and stay at age 20, and then the next level you'll go to age 20.
Yeah, like when you
that.
beat a level, you have a choice, right? Go forward with your age, your current age, and your death count, or
Yep.
redo the level from where you were when you started it, basically.
Exactly. And like to unlock moves, like you have to unlock the move 5 times to actually permanently unlock it, because when you die or when you restart a level, you lose all your experience and
That
all
is
your
ridiculous.
moves.
Dude,
It's
somebody described this. I saw this quote out there. Somebody said buying skills in Sifu feels like paying your student loans. That's exactly what you just described. uh, it's fucking funny.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what it's like. It's like I'm paying I'm just paying my fucking principal on my student loans. Like I'm not even paying the actual loans itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the game is just really unforgiving, man. Like I didn't expect it to be this hard. Like you watch the trailers and how they playing and everything.
Yeah.
Like that shit. Like I watched a no death run on a demo before the game came out. He did no death run. I'm like, oh, that's easy. Like, what the fuck? This game looks easy as fuck. Now I'm going back and I'm like, yo, this guy is good as fuck. Holy shit, he didn't die that one time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the game is definitely fun. I would recommend it to people who really like a challenge. Like if you can beat, I hate using From Software, but if like you can beat like Sekiro, like a Sekiro, this is like a Kung Fu Sekiro game. Like you gotta know your dodges, your parries. You gotta know the enemy's movements and everything of that nature. You have to know that because it's very, very integral that you know all this shit. This game is not for the meek. That you cannot change any difficulties. You just have to get good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you got to get good.
Get good.
So.
Yeah, I've heard the timing on it is kind of weird.
Yep.
It's definitely not a game for everybody. It is not a game. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of this. The whole discourse about difficulty in games around this game. I have seen some takes about it, but not as many as I was expecting. But
yeah, I think a lot of people are just like, just get fucked. Like, fuck off. Like, you can't, if you don't want to play the game, don't play the game. And that's where I'm at with it. You know, if you don't want to play the game, don't play it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, good, or you're not a real gamer. Like, this game is legitimately hard. Like, I thought Sekiro was hard. This game is legitimately hard, in my opinion. Some people already platinumed it. Like, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all good. Y'all good at video games. Because I'm trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a really fun game. It's like I said, it's what I expected it to be, and then what I didn't expect it to be. I just didn't expect it to be so hard. And I did go dark on this game, so that's probably my fault because I stopped watching any information about the game, any all I saw was a combat system and how that worked, and I'm like, you got me. I don't need to see anything else. So I'm kind of glad I actually went into this like fresh. It's something refreshing about going into a game like dark. Once you see the initial trailers and everything, you know what kind of game is going to be. Then you just go dark. So,
dude, I'm looking forward to Horizon.
Yeah, I went dark on that game too. I muted Horizon on my timeline and everything.
Yeah, dude, I'm ready. I'm ready. We got 8 days for that one. So, all right, cool. Well, Sifu, if you guys are playing that, let us know how you feel about it. All right, so I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, of course. Still playing more of that. I got so deep into the crafting rabbit hole this weekend that I burned myself out on Sunday night. Like it was like 11:30, and usually at 11:30 on a Sunday, I'm like grinding to the end of the night. Like I'll keep going until like 12:45 or 1. Nah, I burned myself out on crafting so hard that I kind of just sat there and I'm like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I went to bed. I literally went to bed. I was like, so I got to the point where I'm 70. I'm over level 70 with 6 of the crafters, and I'm at 80 with 2 of them. So I've made insane progress in like a week and a half, maybe not even a week and a half. It's mostly been about a week. And so I made a lot of progress, but I'm kind of like chilling out a little bit on Final Fantasy 14 bit. So I'm still gonna keep playing it, but I'm just like I'm so dead set on getting this crafting shit done that I've kind of like put myself in a position where I don't want to play the game unless I'm in the mood to craft, and
Okay.
that's not happening every night right now. I'm kind of like on and off with it, so that's kind of why I went into some other games this week. So I've also Lost Ark. Yeah, we mentioned this at the top of the show. This just came out. This is an Amazon Game Studios game, but it is published by Amazon. It is not made by Amazon. It's made by a different team. I'm actually forgetting their name right now. Let me see. Let me get that. It is made by Smilegate. Smilegate Tripod Studio. So this game came out. It's actually technically not even out as of recording. It's a free to play game, but it's not out for the free to play audience until tomorrow. So by the time you hear this, the game will pretty much be out by that point. But they launched early access or like head start for pre-order players on Tuesday, and Jet and I decided on Tuesday. We kind of got sucked into the hype cycle for this game, and we decided to buy into the early access. I put $50 down on the gold pack or whatever because it felt like the best value for your money. And I started playing the game Tuesday, and I played some yesterday on Wednesday as well. I probably put about 5 hours total into the game so far, and I regret my purchase. I wish I hadn't put money into this game,
Really?
because this game is popping off right now, like straight up. It's like broken tons of concurrent player records on Steam. I think it. I think it. I don't know if it has the crown overall, but it beat New World and what was the other one? There's some other big game. It beat some of the big players right now that are like high concurrents. Like it went into like the 600-700,000 concurrent players at one point. I don't know what it peaked at, but so this game's popping off. It's also on Twitch, like heavy on Twitch. There was like 1.5 million people watching it the day it came out, something like that. So people are really interested in this game, and people are really into this game too. It is a Korean MMO that is styled like an ARPG. So you are in an isometric perspective, and it is an action game. However, this is kind of where the similarities to action RPGs kind of end to me, because the game is not anywhere near as fast as an ARPG. It is, in terms of speed, I would put it between an ARPG and a typical tab target MMO, probably. In terms of its speed, it's somewhere in the middle there. It's tending more towards the tab target MMO in terms of speed for me. Like
Interesting.
a fast ARPG, like Grim Dawn or even Path of Exile, way faster than this game. Like it's not even close. Like not even close in terms of movement and everything like that. This game
Yeah.
is like slow in comparison. So character movement not fast. You have a dodge that is on a 6-second cooldown. So that's not, you don't have high mobility in that regard. Like your dodge is more of a timed thing that you do. Like it's not something you're spamming. You need to be very deliberate with it. You have a lot of abilities on your action bar. There's 8 slots for character abilities, and they are, so the main crux of this game is mostly that most enemies you fight you can stagger. The second you hit them, they stop moving and they basically get stunned. So if you're good at controlling enemies with your abilities and your auto attacks, you can basically make it so that enemies never get to attack you. The difference here is that bosses and mini bosses have something that is like a stagger bar, basically, where it's this purple bar that the more you hit them, the more it goes down. But until it gets reduced to 0, like it's emptied, they can't be staggered. So they will continue to
Okay.
attack you through your attacks.
Okay.
So they're more about dodging their attack patterns and making sure you don't get hit, and then timing your attacks within their kind of windows where they're not trying to attack you, basically. So that's like the main crux of the combat in the game, and it's good. Like, it's serviceable. I don't think it's bad, but I also don't think it's not blowing me away in any real way either. I don't find it super riveting. Like, when I'm playing the game, I'm like, this is fun enough. Like, it's like kind of one of those things I could take it or leave it. It's like I'm not bored when I'm playing the combat, like when I'm in the middle of fights and stuff, but I'm also not like losing my mind like this is the most awesome shit ever either. It's just kind of there, and it's serviceable, like I said. The problem though, this game, the thing is, I don't know how much staying power this game's gonna have. I'm gonna be surprised if it does have a lot of staying power and maintains a big audience, because from my first blush of this game is bad. Like, the story is awful. Like, it is the most like waste of your time. I don't even know why it's there, kind of thing. Like, the dialogue is terrible. It's super short. Like, they don't like the NPCs, when you go talk to them for like a story segment, they say like 3 sentences at you. And the funny part about it is the first sentence is voiced and the other 2 sentences aren't. So you have to like read the second 2 sentences. It's super weird. And also the dialogue is poorly written. It's not. It's like meme bad, meme level bad. Like, it's funny shit. Like, me and Jet were like literally cackling in the Discord when we were playing the other night because it was so fucking funny. Like, how bad the dialogue was. And the voice acting is equally bad. Like, it's not good at all. And the actual plot of the story, completely uninteresting bullshit. You come out of the gate, you literally come out of character creation, and you're being told you are the chosen one. Like, straight away, you are like the prophesized chosen one who's going to save Arcasia, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, it's so bad, dude. So, not interesting. So, the story's not interesting. Combat's serviceable. What could save this game, though? Itemization and character customization could save this game. Do they? No, they don't. Itemization in this game is the worst thing I've ever seen in a game calling itself an actual RPG. Like, it's awful bad. Like literally, they put items in a game. Like, it feels like, this is how bad it is. It feels like they put the items in the game with stats, and then they intended to do something with that later, and then they never did anything. They just left it the way it was when it was first put in. Because this is how the stats work in this game. Literally, like, or the gear rather works. Like, all gear in the game that I've seen so far, and I did some research and started looking up high level items to see if it gets better. And it doesn't. It, like, as far as I can tell, it doesn't change. So most items have 4 stats on them: physical defense, magical defense, your class's primary stat, and then vitality, which increases your health. And that's it. Every item has those stats, and the
Okay.
item choices are literally: does item B have more numbers than item A? If yes, put on. If no, don't put on. Like, that's the gearing choice. Like, it's the worst shit I've ever seen. It's terrible. Like, straight up bad. And the end game, from what I've read, is about upgrading your gear, like giving it you know how in D&D, like, items are like have like a +1 value or +2 value or something like that. That's what you do in this game. You upgrade your gear and it goes +1, +2, +3, +4, all the way to +20, I think. And all that does is increase stats, does nothing else. It's completely uninteresting in any way. Like, there is customization in your skills. You do invest in your skills and customize those. So there is like, in terms of character customization, there is some interesting character customization systems. And I believe there's more later on that you unlock that further increases that complexity. However, the core of the itemization being so boring is such a literal buzzkill in a game that's like an ARPG, because the most important part of any ARPG, or a game that looks like an ARPG or is trying to be an ARPG, is loot. The loot needs to be interesting. If the loot's not interesting, the game has no like leg to stand on for me. Like, because that's the funny part. I've been playing PoE, Path of Exile, side by side with this game because I started playing it on Monday. I don't know why. I saw I was watching Asmongold's stream on like Sunday, and he was playing PoE, and I was like, oh, damn, this game actually looks kind of cool. I hadn't played it in a long time. So I decided to download it, started playing it on Monday, and like PoE is a proper RPG, like a proper action RPG. The itemization is there. It's just as complex as Grim Dawn, even more complex in some ways. And like it's a lot more interesting of a game to play because there's choices to be made with your gearing choices, you know. Whereas with Lost Ark, it's literally just does this gear have big numbers? Okay, put it on. Like it's just there's no choice. It's literally you put on the better item. It's literally it's objective. There's no subjectivity to whether an item's good or not, you know?
Mhm.
So that to me is bad. Like in a game that's calling itself an RPG, that's extremely bad. Like and like that's why I find it so fucking weird that these people are globbing onto this game because like that lack of depth means that when I'm running around the world killing enemies and items drop, I'm not excited at all. I'm like, okay, like does it have the arrow saying it's better than my gear? Okay, put it on. Like that's it. Like that's the choice. So um what I will say to the game's credit is there's a ton of content in the game. If you do find the game interesting, there's a fuck ton of shit to do. Like this is a 4-year-old game at this point. It's been released in Korea for 4 years, so this is a mature game we're getting. It is not a piece of
Okay.
shit that like is broken and they need to fix. But that's why the itemization is so discouraging to me because this is what they landed on like as what's successful for the game and they're not going to change it, you know. So that's kind of what it's going to be. But there are other, in terms of other types of content, there's events that I haven't taken part in, but I believe there's like events in the game that are kind of non-combat oriented. There's also lots of exploration stuff in the game. You get there's like these collectibles you can find.
Mhm.
They're called like Makoko seeds or something like that. The first ones, and they give you roster experience, which is actually this is actually a cool concept, but I just wish it was executed better. Is that your character when you log into the game has a battle level? That's your character's individual character level, basically, and then you'll have something next to that called roster level. And what that means is that's basically your account level for the server that you're on. So every server you'll have a different account level, roster level, for the game. But you know, if you play on the same server, you'll just have whatever your roster level is for that server, you know, and all your characters will share that, basically. And when you level up your roster level, this is the other problem I have is like, this is a cool system that has a really unexciting payoff is that you level up your roster and for the most part, the game displays like I think there's like 250 roster levels or something like that in the game. And
Mhm.
it's not quick to level your roster, but you know, so when you level your roster up, you go into the thing and there's rewards you can claim. And the rewards for majority of roster levels, like 95% of them, is literally just +5 stats, something, vitality or your primary stat. That's it. Like that's all they do for the roster levels. And it's like it's not even interesting. It's literally just like grinding. You're just grinding for power. It feels like Diablo 3's Paragon levels shit, you know? It's like I don't find that interesting really. Like I guess it is, but it's just there's like nothing intriguing coming to that. Again, it doesn't make me excited to level my roster. I'm just like, okay, whatever, I guess. Like, okay, I level my roster. Let me go hit the claim button to get 5 vitality. And oh, great, I have 15 more HP. It's like, okay, like, cool. There's no like choices in there or anything like that. And even amongst the rewards that aren't stats, they're not really interesting things. They're just items you can get in the game everywhere else. You know, it's like in other with other activities. So I'm finding the game like kind of stale in that regard. But then there's aspects of the game. There's this thing called Adventurer's Tome they give you very early in the game, and it's like this really cool thing where it rewards you for exploring the zones you're in, and like doing various activities and finding like vistas that are like basically areas in the game that are like it's like a landmark basically. You find that and you get like basically there's like a percentage for each zone and for everything you do in the zone you kind of get some contribution percentage towards it. There's specific activities the game calls out that you need to do in order to get that percentage, so like running a dungeon will get you some, finding collectibles in the zone will get you some, doing specific quests might get you some, there's some drops you can find that will get you some, stuff like that. So it's a cool system. I really enjoy that. It's just weird I just find it weird that the game is so like boring in its like actual progression mechanics, you know.
Yeah.
And I find that frustrating because there's another system in the game called like cards. There's like a card system, and you can get. I think this is how you another way you can customize your character, but I'm so early in the game I haven't done anything with it really. But I just don't know if I care to keep going, you know, to find out. I'm just kind of I'm already kind of like this game is a game that is extremely time consuming and really is going to require a real commitment to in order to get something out of it. And I'm just at this point, I kind of feel like I just want to, unfortunately, just like eat the $50 that I spent and kind of drop this game. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now.
That's interesting. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what do you like? Did you look at the game at all? Do you know anything about it?
Um, so I did look at the game. I stayed away from it because I've been looking into like getting into a good JRPG or not JRPG, ARPG rather. And Grim Dawn really isn't my cup of tea. It's kind of a little bit too hardcore and not enough stylish for me. But then
Yeah.
I look at like Diablo, and it's like it's my type of speed, but it's like really old. Even the Diablo remake, right?
Yeah.
And I don't I loved it when I was younger. Well, Diablo 1, I loved Diablo 1 when I was younger. I really didn't get a chance to play Diablo 2 like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 3 was okay. For me at
Yeah.
least. So I mean, I was looking at getting into Path to Exile. The only thing is I don't
If you
like
don't like
free to
Grim Dawn, you're
play.
not gonna like Path of Exile. It's just as complicated. It might even be more
Okay.
complicated, if that's possible to say, like straight up.
Well, it was just like I don't know, like it was Grim Dawn to me was more stat based. Like you do get physical powers that you see, but it was like it was more stat based.
Yeah, it's Grim.
I'm very
Yeah,
like
Grim Dawn. Like you don't like when you put an item on. It's not inherently obvious at first glance. Like you need to understand the game to understand why an item's powerful in Grim Dawn.
yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
get what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm very I don't know, like I'm like a jock when it comes to this shit. Like I need it to like look shiny and look good too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I like flashy shit. The problem is with it, like the ARPGs that are flashy have no fucking depth,
Yeah.
and like the ones that aren't flashy have a lot of depth, but they just don't have the appeal for me. So
Right.
I never was able to find a good ARPG. The only one that kind of satisfied me a little bit was Diablo 3 post like patching. Like I was like, oh
Mhm.
okay, this is actually pretty fun. Um, so I was looking at this, and I usually stay away from free to play ARPGs or MMOs because like they're flashy, but like I said, they have no depth, like
Yeah.
i.e. Black Desert and
Mm,
all these other ones is like that. Like it reminds me of Black Desert, but
yeah.
ARPG style.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what it reminds me of. And I don't really have any kind of interest in it. Because I don't know, like it was cool. That kind of combat was cool back in like 2015, right? But
Yeah.
they all just come out to be Dynasty Warrior looking clones, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Like it all looks like that.
That is a really good call here, because that is kind of what this is like. It's like an ARPG Dynasty Wars, which I mean ARPGs are like known for, you blow up, you know, giant groups of mobs really fast. Like that's the way they're designed. They're supposed to feel satisfying in that way. But this game is like, I just don't I don't know. I just don't find it satisfying. I don't know how to say it any other way really. Like I just don't think it's that fun of a game. Like I said, the combat's like not that fulfilling the way it is right now. And um I don't know. I feel like people are gonna fall off this game, you know?
Yeah.
Like
It's like the only game that's like an ARPG MMO that was really satisfying was Terra. Like
mm,
Terra was really designed really well, in my opinion. It wasn't like mind blowing, but it was like, yeah, this is what I want.
yeah.
But other games that kind of went that action route, like Neverwinter, the MMO Neverwinter,
Mhm.
um, they all went instance based, and I'm just like, ugh, like I don't know, I just even Black Desert's open world, but it's still instant based,
Mm.
and it's still that Dynasty Warriors s combat. Like I don't know. It's like I guess there really isn't any way to make an MMO
Mm-hmm.
that's like because they all try to target like this Devil May Cry audience. Like, oh, look at these
Mm-hmm.
cool combos you can do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an MMO, and it's like, yeah, why can't I have like I
Yeah.
don't know, a fucking Final Fantasy 14 style game that does have like the combat of Devil May Cry. You know what I'm saying? But like it's an MMO and you need depth, you need strategy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would probably never happen because I'm thinking about it in my head and I can't see how that would those two combine without making it like a Dynasty Warriors S game.
Uh,
Um
yeah, it's a good question. I feel like I think the problem, like, are they mutually exclusive? Like, can you not have one with the other? Like, is it not possible? Straight up, just like not actually fucking possible. I that feels like it just feels like somebody just hasn't figured it out yet. You know, it feels like they could be combined. They're just not. You know, like they're not being combined. 'Cause I'm trying to think of games that have had good action combat that are like deep RPGs. You know, I mean, I guess like
like I guess like Darksiders 2,
yeah,
right? Like that
yeah.
one has deep combat. It's
Xenoblade is
almost
like
like
Xenoblade. I was gonna point to Xenoblade, but it's not really like it's not what you're talking about. It's not badass action combat. Like it is action combat, but it's
it
not.
is action it's not like yeah, badass action combat.
Yeah,
Like I guess the only game we can look to, right, is Monster Hunter. Like
yeah, but
Monster Hunter fulfills me,
yeah, but
right?
even that, I'd argue the itemization in that game is deep only in like the gem system. Is it really deep? Like the basic itemization of that game is extremely basic and easy to understand, which is why Monster Hunter is finding success because I think people are actually finding it really easy to get into because it's like it's not complicated at first. It gets complicated eventually, but
Yeah, it does get because
yeah,
you got to combine different parts to get different skills that you may need to do
yeah,
different things that you
right.
want to do.
But you don't do that until
Um,
the very, very end, you know?
the very end, correct? Yep.
Yeah.
So, I I think I think that's why I like Monster Hunter so much is because like I can look really cool doing some really cool shit, and then I'm also like you know it's just really satisfying when you have a monster charging up towards you and you got them weakened enough to where the last hit it's gonna knock them out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you do more additional damage, or you're a dual blade person and you got your stats and you're like constantly hitting them and you're constantly chain fucking paralyzing a monster or something like that because you
Mm-hmm.
know how to do your combos. It's just really cool to see stuff like that. But then you play games like Black Desert or Lost Ark because that's what it looks like. And I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this because I haven't played Lost Ark. But from what I've looked at just so far, it looks
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors meets Black Desert meets Path of Exile.
Well,
And
it's flashy. That's what it has going for it. That's like the one thing I think it does well is that it looks good. Like it really does like look good to play. And
yeah,
I think the feedback of killing things is really satisfying in the game because you kind of feel like a badass. Like you're like doing all these crazy flips and shit and moving around and like you're throwing like you're fucking doing these crazy combo moves and shit and like you're murdering enemies like you're fucking destroying them and shit and that feels satisfying. That is a big reason why I think people are like digging the game. But this is me like being disappointed in gamers almost is like y'all are shallow, man. If you think this game is like the best shit ever, because it's not that interesting of a game. Like it's just not. Maybe I'm gonna take heat for that too, and somebody can come in and tell me that like oh late game it's so super deep blah 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 blah. But it's like okay, well why can't it be deep from the get go? Like, why do you have to wait till the end for it to be deep? And I guess maybe it's that Monster Hunter mentality where you like don't want to scare people off right away. But I mean, for somebody like me, I'm more of a gamer that if a game doesn't show me its depth early, I'm out. Like, I'm just not gonna be interested. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna wait 30 hours for the game to get interesting. Like, in that regard. So I don't
hmm
know, that's just like it's kind of where I sit on it. So right now the game to me feels like it's just like the only thing that's going to get me through the grind is like the flashy combat really, and the collectibles, like the exploration of the zones. But there's so much shit to collect that it feels like almost like a self-defeating prophecy to like not follow a guide, at which point then I'm not even really enjoying the exploration anymore because I'm just following a guide. I'm not even doing it organically, so it's like, I don't know, it's just it's like kind of sucks. Like I was hoping for more from the game, and I think I might play it more just to see if maybe like grouping up with Jed is fun or something. But um I don't know. I don't know if it's worth wasting my time, because the other game I'm playing, I mentioned, is PoE, and I want to talk about it a little bit. Here is Path of Exile, for those of you who don't know what PoE is. This is an ARPG. It came out like almost, I think it was 10 years ago now at this point. It's been around forever. It's huge. It's a free-to-play game. It has a ton of microtransactions, some cosmetics, some interface-based, which are, I don't love the interface-based microtransactions, but the game is free, so there is a little bit of leeway there with that. And there's a ton of content in the game after 10 years as well. So they've supported the game a lot with free stuff, because the expansions are free. You don't have to pay for them, which is
Yeah.
something that not all games do, so like Destiny charges fucking $40 for every one of their fucking expansions, and it's like, and they have microtransactions in their game. So yeah, it's the game is it's an ARPG, and it feels good to play. It definitely feels a lot different than when I played it back in the day, like 8 or 9 years ago at this point. And there's so much more to it now. I'm actually into it. I'm getting into it. I think I'm going to play this game and like actually invest some time into it. I really want to like sink my teeth into it. I'm like you, I'm actually kind of in an ARPG itch mode right now. And I don't want to go back to Grim Dawn like I always do. I want to try something else. So I'm giving this game a shot in a way I never have really. And I think it's really interesting. Like, this game is immediately got depth to it. Like, the second you start playing in the first level you gain, you literally have a skill tree, like a passive skill tree that has literally probably 1,000 nodes on it, and is like
Hmm.
insane, hyper deep, like you have no idea where you want to go on it. It's like kind of a thing where you almost need a guide to play the game properly. And I'm actually not following a guide. I've chosen to kind of just struggle through my first character and probably make something shitty. But I would probably recommend for most people, if you don't want to think through things too deeply, just follow some guide, find a guide and follow it. I think you'll have more fun that way with it. But so yeah, man, I don't know, if you're looking for an ARPG, I think it's worth checking this one out. It would be fun, I think, to play together if you do invest some time into it, for sure. Maybe that'll get you to go into it a little bit more. But um I think this game is way better than Lost Ark, though. So comparing the two, which maybe I shouldn't, they're different games. Like, this is a pure ARPG. This is an ARPG for ARPG fans, whereas Lost Ark is not an ARPG. It's an MMO kind of wrapped up in the skin of an ARPG that's like super flashy, and it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors. So yeah. Um, so yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, have you ever looked at PoE? Like, actually like watched some gameplay of it?
No, I just heard that a lot of people actually like it, and I remember my teacher way back in college was talking about PoE, or he was like
Mm.
on the beta for it or some shit like that. I think because PoE is pretty old, right?
Yeah. Like, I think it's 10 years old.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was on the beta for it or he was actually playing it. I just remember he was like he was really excited for the game because he likes those type of games.
Yeah.
So
I did just put something in our Zencaster chat too. This is a game I've been following called Last Epoch. It is an ARPG that's in early access right now.
mhm.
And um, it should be coming out, I don't know, in the next year or two, probably, like full release. That's a gameplay video from 5 months ago. It's kind of how the game looks now. This game looks really cool. I don't know if it's going to be as deep as either Grim Dawn or PoE. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it too deeply, but maybe this one might be worth looking into for you at some point too.
Okay.
So, all right, Montreal. Uh, Yeah. Oh my god, we've been going for fucking
Yeah,
49
we
minutes,
gotta, we
bro.
gotta,
We
we
gotta get
gotta
a move
go, man.
on. Holy
Yeah, we
shit.
gotta go. We gotta
Damn,
get
man, we've
going.
been gabbing the gab. We had a short episode last week, so we're making up for it this week. All right, everybody, let's get into the news. We had a big drop yesterday. It kind of saved the week for us because honestly, this would have been a short episode if not for this. Nintendo announced and broadcast a Nintendo Direct, a 40-minute Direct, and it was good. It was actually really, really good. Maybe some of you feel
Let's just
differently,
get
but yeah,
let's
go.
just get straight to it. Why was it good, Justin? Tell me why it was good.
I mean, dude, there were surprise announcements. There were games. There were franchises in here I never thought I would see brought back. They had it. They capped it off with one of my favorite franchises I've ever played. You know, with the reveal of a. I'm not gonna spoil it. You guys know what it is, but you know, one of my favorite games. There was a fucking new Mario Strikers entry shown. Like, bro, like this was, if they were gonna make a Nintendo Direct for me, and I think even you, like this was that Direct, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's very few ways they could have made this better to me, you know? And like that's crazy. I've never said that about any of these presentations. So let's fucking get
What's
into it,
funny is
Montreal.
a lot of people, some people were actually upset at this
Yeah. I know.
at this
Well,
at this direct,
bro,
and
if
I'll
you're
tell
not
you
into
why. Like spoiler,
RPGs, if you're not into RPGs, like I could see why. There's no Mario here. There's no Zelda here. Like
I was just gonna
you
say that.
didn't get
Yeah,
Metroid
the
Prime
Zelda.
4. This was like a weeb's wet dream direct, you know? Like your typical Nintendo fan probably wasn't that into this, you know? So yeah. I mean what are your overall thoughts though? Like how did you feel about it?
I actually thought this was a really. It wasn't like the super best. Well, you know what? It was up there. Like I was that Xenoblade 3. I'm just gonna fucking spoil it. That
All right.
Xenoblade 3
You guys knew what it was
announcement.
anyway.
Yeah. That Xenoblade 3 was fucking amazing. Like I was not expecting that. And when I saw the art style, I was like, no, it better not fucking be. Oh my god. Oh my
Yeah, we
god. And
know
then I saw
we know what Xenoblade looks like, dude. Like they just have a distinct style. Okay, it's really obvious. I could pull it out. You could show me 100 games, and I would know which one's Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, you know,
exactly.
like
And
yeah,
I was like, this is not Xenoblade. It turned out to be.
yeah,
So that's funny because I mean that's the game they were working on. I think we are like rumored to hear.
yeah.
But
We talked
didn't they
about it
get
a few months ago that it was rumored for an early 2022 release and an
yeah, but
announcement.
didn't they hire
Immediately.
people for another game?
Yes, they're supposedly working on something else. Maybe I don't know because think about it. The only games we've gotten from them recently is a remake-ish of the first Xenoblade Chronicles. That was like, what was that? 2 years ago now? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Last year?
God,
No, yeah.
that's
Yeah, I got it
fucking
during the pandemic. So yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking
2 years
crazy.
ago.
That's fucking crazy, man. And then 5 years ago was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So that's it. That's all we gotten out of them. You know.
All they have to do now, man, is I hope they do it next year. I'm praying. Just port it over X, man.
X. Give us
Xenoblade
X.
Chronicles. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
give us X. Nintendo. If you give us Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm just going to say this right now. If you give us Xenoblade Chronicles X in a direct, I will say that that is the best direct ever made, even if there's nothing else of note in that direct. Like, literally, you could show me like a fucking mobile Star Fox game and like a new mobile Mario game and nothing else of interest. Like a bunch of shitty Switch games and nobody cares about shovelware garbage. Like, but you show me Xenoblade Chronicles Export coming to Switch, man, best direct ever. Okay, best direct ever. Like, we're all here, boys.
What if they make a part 2?
A new Xenoblade Chronicles X. I hope so. That universe was hyper compelling, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. All those alien races that you run into in that game are like, it's like everyone you see, you're like, damn, these guys are creative as fuck, dude. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yep.
like this is like Mass Effect kind of shit. Like these races are like really distinct and like very well formed, you know? Like they
Mm-hmm.
have a personality to them and lore to them that like really worked in that game. And I'd be really interested for them to explore that universe more. So yes, if we get a Xenoblade Chronicles X2, Montrell, my house,
Yeah.
I'm gonna break a hole in my house with how loud I scream. Like,
I will probably drive to your house and scream with you, and then just
bro,
leave.
dude, I just run down my street yelling, like, you know. So
Like, these are grown ass men
grown ass
running down the
man,
street.
grown ass man. I don't give a shit. Fuck him, man. Fuck him. I'm enjoying life. Okay. No, like, cause
uh,
seriously, like, I was watching this direct, and you hyped me up too, cause you
I
sent me a
told you not to get
message.
on Twitter.
Don't
Yeah, I
get on
said don't
Twitter.
get on Twitter.
And Sage sent us a message too that I saw before I watched this, where he's like, "Man, this is y'all's time" or whatever. Like, I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, so I was hyped going into this already. I was like, okay, like, what is this? I was pretty sure Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was happening, so I figured that one. But then the other surprises that were in there, I was like, dude, I was like a kid. I felt like a kid again. I was so excited, like Nintendo. I was like sitting here, dude. I'm like, I can't even fucking form thoughts right now. I'm like all over the place. Um, but I was like sitting in my chair watching this, and I'm like, bro, Nintendo's coming to save gaming. Like, they're coming to save gaming. Like Microsoft's coming here and buying Activision. They bought Bethesda. They're like putting their fucking money dick on the table. They're gonna ruin gaming. And then fucking Nintendo's like was like, hey, yeah, Activision Blizzard. They bought Activision Blizzard. Okay, yeah. But we're still here, you know. And then they drop the mic and walk out, you know. Like, that's what they did. That's what it feels like they did here. Because this was a direct. The reason why I'm so excited about this, not only that it hits games that I want, but it's, to me, it's like, this is so core to this, is that Nintendo's like coming in here, and they're like, look, guys, we don't give a shit what's happening in other parts of the industry. We are a game company that makes fucking games, and maybe not every game we make is going to be a fucking 30 million, 40 million seller like Mario Kart 8, you know, which they did have a Mario Kart 8 piece in here, by the way, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not every game we make is going to be that. But you know what? We're going to make fucking games, you know? And when you tell me that they were fucking working with Square Enix to remake Front Mission 1 and Front Mission 2, like, Nintendo loves us, okay? Like, I know we get mad at them, and I fucking hate the way they deal with the virtual console and the old games and shit, but god damn it, man. Like they're bringing that shit back. They fucking announced the Chrono Cross remake in here. Like, these are fucking niche games, bro. Like, this is not shit that appeals to a lot of people. Like, straight up.
And just to give you an idea of why that front mission is so important, bro, the last game they released was the last front mission game, guys, that they released was fucking terrible. Go look at front mission for the PS4.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. It was
it
one of the
what was
worst
it called?
things.
Left Alive or something like that?
Some bullshit like that. It was a third-person shooter.
And I was excited about it, remember? That was one of the first games we talked about on this show, like when we started it 3 years ago. I was like excited about it, and it was awful.
And it turned out to be, it was awful.
And
I thought they were gonna.
Before that, Square Enix made a fucking action multiplayer action game, like, out of Front Mission. Like, God, man, you know. So I thought this franchise was dead.
Yeah, I thought it was on ice.
Yeah.
I really think someone in Nintendo was like, I actually like front missions. It had to be an executive, bro. Yeah. It had to be, because no one else would have did this. Like, from a gameplay, from a business standpoint, from Square Enix's, why would I even invest in this company, in this game, bro? Yeah, like, this shit is dead. I just tried to release 2 games and they just flopped. Yeah. Why would I even try it? It had to be someone from the higher ups, and I was like, yo, give front mission another try. Like, just do it. Go back to tactical RPGs, because these are selling now. Tactical RPGs are actually selling really well.
They're hot,
like, they're getting, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's. I don't want to I don't want to kill the whole conversation with that.
Yeah.
So let's get into the direct itself and like go through the games game by game. Because, to be honest, the funny part about it was I was like hype coming into it, and the first thing Nintendo does is trolls the fuck out of me with a Fire Emblem Heroes fucking game, like a Dynasty Warriors game. You know, Fire.
Okay. Listen. Mm-hmm. I was actually pretty hyped about this one.
Yeah. Does it look good?
I kind of wanted an action game out of this particular Fire Emblem story.
Yeah.
I love Three Houses, and I actually wanted an action game, so I'm kind of glad they did this. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like a standard thing they're going to do now with their franchises. But with each iteration, though, they add something new to it, like you can control more troops and stuff like that. So it feels like you're actually going to be on the battlefields. I'm
Yeah.
actually wondering when does this one take place? Is this like after the whole events, or are
I
you
don't know.
fighting
They
doing
kind of framed it
events?
like a retelling of the game's story, honestly. That's kind of
Okay,
what it looks like too, because a lot of the characters are young in the game and they're literally like lines are speaking at each other. So I think it might be a retelling of the game's story
okay,
in this game, which is fine. I think it'll work fine. Um
yeah. I love Three Houses story. It was a really good story. So I'm
yeah.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I do think this game does lend itself to this style because there is some interesting combat situations with like the giant monsters and stuff that a
Hmm.
normal Fire Emblem game wouldn't really have per se, unless you maybe had a one that was fighting dragons or something like that. So there's some interesting stuff here. It's just you guys got me hyped, and then the first thing I see is I hear Fire Emblem, like Fire Emblem music, and then it starts morphing into Three Houses Fire Emblem music, and I was like, oh my god, are they announcing a new Fire Emblem right away off the top? Like, is this a remake of fucking Path of Radiance or Radiant Dawn or some shit? And then it morphs
No,
into Three
now you're
Houses, and
getting
I'm
too.
like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
now you're getting too hyped.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh fuck, I'm
If
like,
they had
oh
a if they
no,
had announced Path of Radiance, bro,
yeah.
do you? I was at work when I was watching this. Do you know how loud I would have fucking screamed? I would have screamed.
Yeah, man. I know. Yeah, dude. So yeah, that was the first game they showed. It's coming on June 24th, 2022. That's the other part about this direct that was really cool. Most of the shit they showed is coming out this year. And that is something that Nintendo has consistently done in their directs that I think a lot of other companies could learn from.
Hmm.
Because yeah, this is so satisfying to see all this footage for games we've heard of and not heard of, and they're coming out in the next 2 to 5 months. So I like kudos to them for that. So second thing they showed was Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. This game had been delayed indefinitely
Man.
late last year, and bruh, I'm 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 feel like I'm fucked. Like the next 2 months is just this is coming out on April 8th. And this game looks great. I'm so excited to play this, dude. Like I'm like shit, man. Like this is like a
And you're
classic
and
tactics game, you know?
and you're playing the remake version
I
too,
know,
man.
right?
Like,
Yeah. Well, they're adding all this shit too. Like you can do multiplayer, and you can do people are going to be able to create their own maps and stuff too. Like it's just like they're really going all out with this game. It's weird, and they're doing two games in one,
yep.
as well, which I find interesting. So I'm excited for this, dude. And April 8th, I mean, that's only 2 months from now. Like, dude, I think I'm still gonna be playing games from fucking March in the middle of November, Like so much shit there is to play coming out soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you excited for this one?
Oh yeah, 100%. I was looking at the trailers they showed look better than the old gameplay trailers they showed, and I was just like, wow, like this game might bring the franchise back. Like I think this is definitely going to bring the
Hmm.
franchise back.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're like in a golden era right now for strategy RPGs. They're back on the table now, tactical RPGs, and this one is the one that kind of got me into it. Besides Fire Emblem, like when I played Fire Emblem, then I went back and played Advance Wars. I was like, yo, like I kind of think I like
Dude, you
tactical
gotta you
RPGs.
gotta play War Groove, dude. Like you have to, man. It's Advanced Wars, like fantasy version of Advanced Wars, and it's really
Okay,
fun. It's really good, dude. Like I highly recommend it. So, yeah, you need to check that out at some point. It's not a long game either. You can beat it in like 20 hours, maybe 15, 20 hours, something like
okay,
that.
cool.
So, and it's cheap. I think it's like $15 or $20. So,
Okay.
yeah, check that out, dude. All right, the next game they showed, this one was so random. It was No Man's Skies coming to Switch. Um,
Hey, okay. Listen, right. I was watching the gameplay for this first.
mhm.
This game looks pretty fucking good.
Well, now it does, dude. They're showing all this shit that they showed before the game came out, and I'm like, it's probably actually all in the game now, right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's like this game is actually probably really dope and robust. I don't want to jump into this rabbit hole, but it does look interesting. Like, um, so it's coming this summer as well. There's no official like full date, exact date for it, but sometime this summer. So
Okay.
So yeah. All right. After that, this is so Nintendo wasn't fucking around, dude. Within the first 5 minutes, they come with a banger, right off the top here. Fucking new Mario Strikers game on the Switch. It's coming fucking June 10th. We haven't even heard about this game before this, and it's coming in 4 months, dude. Like, and this shit looks like Mario Strikers, dude. Like, this is so exciting. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy this and play it. I want to, but I said that about Mario Party, and none of us have played it, and it's just sitting over there, and it's sad. But dude, like, Mario Strikers is the shit, and this game looks awesome. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. What were you thinking when you saw
Yeah,
this?
I thought they were gonna pull some bullshit. Like I was just waiting for like mobile today. And that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, the
I
shooting
was waiting
dog.
for
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and I was just and it didn't happen. It just said Switch, and I was like, "Fuck yes!" I've been waiting for a Mario Strikers game for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't believe they did it. The game looks really good. Uh, I like how you can play with actual characters now. I do miss the team aspect of the game. Now I didn't play the one that was on the Wii. A
Yeah.
lot of people said the one on the Wii was like really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the structure of that, how that was. Like if you can play with actual characters or you play with like one character and then their team. Um, because I like that with the old Mario Strikers games where
The
you play
first
with
one where
like
it was like you were
yeah,
Mario versus Luigi and it was a bunch of rando Koopas and shit you were playing with.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. I don't know why it just added like a leadership thing to the field or
Yeah, you're the
whatever. Like
captain. Yeah. Right.
yeah, exactly. So but I do like this though. I want to see how, having five characters on the screen is going to affect everything. So I don't know, man. I like this soccer game. Like I really don't like soccer games like that, but I love the arcadey soccer games. Like I got the anime
Yeah.
one
Oh
Captain
yeah.
something.
Subasa or whatever.
Yeah, I got that game because that game's really fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the arcade soccer games, bro. They're
Well,
so
dude,
fucking
this is
good.
like indoor soccer too, which if you ever played soccer, like recreationally, indoor soccer is way more fun than normal soccer for most people because, we're not in the shape to run around a giant soccer field for fucking 2
Hmm.
hours. Whereas an indoor soccer is a lot more condensed and manageable for more normal people. So I love indoor soccer, and that's basically what this is. What I will say, I don't know how people play Mario Strikers, but bro, I turn off the power shots and I just go pure skill. It's pure skill.
Really?
Yeah, man. That's how I played back in the day. We used to play no power shots because we like, to be honest, I felt like the power shots made the game boring because they were auto goals basically, and it looks to be the same way here. They're like auto goals, so it's like it's not a skill based thing. So we kind of wanted to make the game more heavily reliant on skill. And I will say the game's a lot harder when you turn off the power shots because the goalies are actually pretty good against most shot types that are normal. So you kind of have to learn their AI and how to exploit them. And there's a lot of like passing and shit you have to do. It like actually turns into soccer. Like it was really kind of fun. So I'm gonna do the same thing here probably.
Okay.
And try that. But I don't think that's gonna be the most popular way to play. But that's my way to play it. So yeah, man. Mario Strikers. I can't believe that. Like this came out of left field, dude. This was like I think this was probably the most hype thing in this direct for most people. Was this? This is the thing I saw people kind of going crazy about the most. For good reason though. Like we haven't heard about this at all. There was no rumors about this. There was no inkling they were working on this game. This is what Nintendo is crazy with. Like I don't understand how they keep their games so secret, Like in an industry where leaks are so prevalent, like their
I
shit
was
doesn't
just
leak.
gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. I wonder, like, do they have like a really, really harsh non-disclosure agreement?
Mhm.
Um, because yeah, you're right. We don't really see anything. I mean,
Yep.
they have some of the best fucking lawyers ever, so I'm pretty sure people are very hesitant on fucking leaking that shit.
Yeah.
So
Or they're just a company that people really take pride in what they're working on and
yeah, there you go.
they don't want to ruin the marketing, for it. So,
Yep.
which is interesting. So, All right, the next game they showed, and this one was weird as all fuck. Every time they show this game, the more they show, so they showed Splatoon 3. The more they show Splatoon 3, the less I understand what Splatoon is. Like I don't I don't get this game. I don't I don't get it at all. Like what is it? It's
This
like
game is for a very specific type of people, and it's not
it's
us.
not us. It's not us. I don't know what else to say there. It's coming in summer 2022. That's the window they gave. There was no exact date. I will not be playing it, but for those of you who like Splatoon, I am happy for you. I will warn you though that I think this is probably the last Splatoon you're gonna get for a long time. So that's kind of
You
my
think
thought.
so?
I really believe that, dude. Like, think about how long this game has been in development. Like, Splatoon 2 came out really quickly after Splatoon 1, and Splatoon 3's been in how many directs at this point? Like a lot of them, dude, you know. So, I find it unlikely this game's going to have huge sales success all of a sudden, and then maybe it will. I don't know. The Switch has a huge install base, so maybe it will have big huge sales success. I just like you said, I just don't think this appeals to a lot of people. Like, because it's kind of hard to say what the game is. I know it's like a shooter of some sort, but at the same time, it has all these modes and shit that like every time they show it, it's like the game is different. Like it's something different. Like this one was like a wave based mode where you're like trying to fight some boss, you know. Some of the other times they've shown it, it's like almost like a deathmatch mode where you're just trying to like kill other players or like take over certain amounts of the map with your paint. You know, it's like, so I don't know. The game's just weird. It just is, but happy for people who are excited for it. So, Montrell, the next moment. So this is where, so Strikers was one thing, right? That was the first like, holy shit, you know? Oh fuck, like this is happening. This one though, the next, this we've already talked about it a bit. When it said Vonzer's at the ready, like I was like, I did a double take. I was like, wait, what? I had to like go back and make sure I was reading it right, like what it said on screen, because I know what Vonzers are. They're what the mechs are in Front Mission. That's what they're called.
Yep.
So I was like, wait, Front Mission game? And I was like, please don't be an action game. Please don't be an action game. Please don't be an action game. And then they show the trailer and it's like showing a remade version of, you know, Front Mission 1, and they say like, yeah, we're remaking Front Mission 1 and later on we're going to be remaking Front Mission 2. And I was like, what the fuck? Like what? You're making both to 1 and 2? Like what is going on here? Like how did this happen? Like you were saying earlier, like somebody very specific at either Nintendo or Square Enix like made this happen. I really feel like that, because they have to believe that this series has some kind of place that like this trend of strategy RPGs kind of popping off lately. I think the last few years they must be seeing something here and think that this game could actually sell pretty well, because there's
Yeah.
no other way this happens in my opinion, because this
Well, I
is
think they're
like,
looking at the huge install base for Nintendo for for Nintendo,
yeah.
and there really isn't a big risk. Like you make sell a couple hundred copies, and you still make your money and re up on the money.
Well, yeah, and it makes
So,
me wonder too, who's footing the bill for this? Did Nintendo go to Square and be like, "Hey, we're gonna fund a Front Mission remake"? You know,
mhm.
like we want to fund a Front Mission remake. We think it will do really well on our platform. And Square's like, okay, and then they do it. You know, it's like, because if that's the case, like Nintendo cares more about Square's IP than Square does, and that's like embarrassing. And also, I'm gonna say who else is embarrassing for is fucking Sony, because Sony should be doing this. This series was built on PlayStation. Like, are they kidding me with this? How is Nintendo the one having this game? Like what are you doing? Like Sony's totally lost their Japanese like heritage, I feel like, at this point.
I
Like
was, I was just gonna say that I think at this point now, I don't think Sony used to be the Japanese system to go to
mhm,
for all your JRPG needs rather.
mhm.
But it looks like fucking Nintendo Switch is taking over that platform.
Yeah.
It has both the console and the handheld potential to take over all their old IPs. I mean, look at all the games that just came out. even another game that's going to that we're going to talk about later that used to be on PS1 is now available on fucking the Switch now. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, or two of them actually. So it's like, or no, it's just one. But it's just crazy how it's all like Nintendo is the Switch is almost the PS1 emulator.
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. It is. It's weird. I just if I find it weird, you know, that they're more interested in PS1 games than like Sony is, you know, and maybe Sony's gonna prove us wrong with Spartacus here in a few months, but their just lack of interest in old games is puzzling to me because yeah, Nintendo clearly recognizes the potential, like you know, because yeah, like
It's just funny Nintendo's doing this for their IPs though, but they're not doing it for their own IPs.
that's
So
true.
yeah, you know.
Well, I think they're going for more of the slow squeeze method with their own IPs. They want to really tease people with the Nintendo Online and really incentivize people to sign up for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I bet they make a fuck ton of money off the Nintendo Online subscription, especially the stupid expansion pack thing they did a few months ago. Like they're making bank off it. I think it's probably working very well, you know. So which is interesting. But yeah, man, Front Mission 1 coming this summer, they said. And Front Mission 2 coming in the future. Front Mission is dope, guys, by the way. Like, if you like strategy RPGs like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Ogre, stuff like that, like, Front Mission is fucking dope. It is a mech strategy RPG where you customize your mechs. Like, they have different parts and shit. And in combat, you can target specific parts of enemy mechs to disable them. So you can like blow off an arm to like, you know, it loses the weapon on that arm, like it can't shoot you with it anymore or something like that. Or you shoot it in the leg and you will immobilize the Vanzer. Like if you break the leg off, you know, you totally kill the leg or something like that.
Yep.
So it's really cool shit, dude. Like it's a great series. All right, Montrell. Moving on. Next game they showed was a Disney racer. It's like a kart racer basically for Disney and Pixar, which is totally random. Um, it's coming this summer. It seems like a live service game. I feel like it might be on mobile, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it might look a little too good for that. But did this interest you at all?
No, actually, I'll be honest. The next one, two, three games, I was like, this
Yeah,
is kind of the boring part of this
yeah.
of the conference.
Agreed. Next thing they showed was Force Unleashed, Star Wars Force Unleashed. Yes, that game that was released on like the PS2 is coming to Switch. And then they showed Assassin's Creed trilogy, the Ezio trilogy, is coming to Nintendo Switch at some point here in the future. I don't know the exact date, but then after that, the next game they showed was a Gundam game that kind of looks like a mobile game. I'll be totally honest about it. It looks like some kind of co-op game. Um, I don't know what it's actually called.
SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you. Is there a release date on that?
Not that I know of. No, it's coming in 2022. That's all I know.
Okay. Yeah, sometime in 2023 too. So, then the next one they showed, this was the next crazy one. This was from the Nvidia leak though. So this is we're kind of getting to the point where that leak was basically 100% true. Like it feels like a good bet that everything in that leak was probably true. So the next game they showed was Chrono Cross is getting a remake, like a total remake. And this is a weird one because this isn't a beloved game really in any conceivable way. Like I don't think people love this game that much, especially compared to like Chrono Trigger. Like it pales in comparison to that, from what I understand. But it is supposed to be coming out this year. Did this move the needle for you at all?
I'm gonna support this game, so
Yeah.
hopefully I can get a Chrono Cross remake. I mean, a Chrono Trigger remake.
Mm,
So I am gonna buy this game based off the strength alone of that.
yeah. Yeah, it's Chrono Cross. The Radical Dreamers edition is coming on April 7th, so 2 months from now. So check that out if you're excited for that. The next thing they showed was more Kirby in the Forgotten World, and they actually showed more of this game. And the more dude, the more they showed this game, the more I'm like, this game looks so good. Like this
Yeah,
game
this
looks
game
so
looks
much better
really
than it
fucking
has any
good,
right to
bro.
be. Like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, this game looks really fucking good. It looks like a classic Nintendo game. Like I
Yeah,
don't know how to explain it, but it looks so Nintendo.
yeah,
Like it looks like it's gonna be a timeless Nintendo game that people love
yeah.
and enjoy from time to come. Like
hmm
it looks really fucking good, yo.
Yeah, because they showed this new thing where Kirby can like suck in objects that are bigger than him, and he doesn't take a power. He like transforms kind of into them in weird ways, and it looks kind of disturbing actually. Some of them, but there were some funny memes coming out of it. But they'll give you various like platforming powers though. So, for instance, like he can suck in a car and like drive around really fast as a car.
Yep.
There was one I showed where it's a vending machine and he shoots out like soda cans at enemies, and I'm like, okay, what's the point of that one? Just for fun, I guess. So there was some cool stuff in there for sure. This game looks really, really good. It's coming on March 25th. I think this game is going to be a huge surprise for people in terms of its quality.
Yeah.
Um, all right, next one. I had this as a news story coming into the week, but this direct confirmed it, so we're just going to talk about it here. MLB The Show is coming to Switch this year, which we knew. We had talked about this a couple years ago when Sony and MLB announced that the game was going multi-platform, but we didn't know when it was coming to Switch. And yeah, it's coming to Switch now. And the fun part about this is it's cross-platform multiplayer with Xbox
Wow.
and PlayStation, and I think PC as well if it's on PC. But it's also cross progression with the
Oh,
other versions
okay.
of the game. So yeah, so dude, you could be chilling at home playing the show on your PS5. The game looks dope, blah blah blah, and you can come play it on your Switch like when you go to work the next day and you want to play it at lunch, or something like that, and you can just continue the same save. Like that is awesome. Um, that is way more than I ever expected out of this game coming to Switch too and other platforms. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool. I actually think this game is going to be really big on Switch. I think this is a game that really lends itself to the handheld format, being a baseball game. Like it's not heavy on the action, so it doesn't have to look great or even run that great because it's baseball. Like
Yeah.
so. I think there's a lot of potential here with this. So I'll be interested to see how this sells on the Switch. Okay, next thing they showed was Kingdom Hearts, the 1.5, 2.5, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 Plus Remind is all coming to Switch on the cloud. Not much to say there. It's probably going to run like shit. Don't expect too much out of it, you know. And then after that was this weird game from, was this Namco? I think. Hold on, let me get the exact name of this.
Uh,
Klonoa HD, yeah, it's coming on
oh,
July 8th. Yeah,
you never played those games?
no,
That was
what
on the
the
PS. That was on the PlayStation.
dude? What the fuck is this? I was
It's a
watching this,
PlayStation platformer.
dude. I was watching this, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I have never heard of this in my life, dude. Like,
Really?
seriously, man.
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. It's kind of hard to say like it wasn't popular, but it was. It was just one of those niche popular, those niche platformers that like Gex, right? You remember everybody remembers
Oh yeah,
Gex,
okay,
but
yeah.
but it sold pretty well, but it just didn't gain traction, even though it sold really well.
hmm
And Clona was one of those that sold really well. It has a huge cult following,
hmm
but it just didn't sell, or it just didn't push, because he kind of looks like Sonic in a way.
Yeah,
This art
kind of.
style,
Yeah,
yeah,
kind
the
of.
art
Yeah.
style is kind of like Sonic. So I don't know. I played it on the. This is another game that was originally on the PlayStation, and now it's on the Switch. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck, PlayStation?
which is weird. That is weird. After that, next thing they showed was Portal 1 and 2. They're coming in a companion pack later this year. And you know what's funny about Portal? I've never played either game, not once. Have you?
Same.
Really?
Oh, I lied. I played Portal 2. I did play
Okay.
Portal 2.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
feel
play
like
Portal
I've
1.
robbed myself of a really great experience by not playing those games. Like, I
It's kind of overrated,
you
but
think so?
whatever.
Okay,
To me, it is. To me, it is.
man. All right, fair enough.
It was a breath of fresh air at a time when first person shooters were like littered everywhere. That's all you
Mhm.
can play is first person shooters, and then this first person shooter comes out, and it's not a shooter; it's a puzzle game. So
Yeah.
I think that was so special about Portal. It stood out from a lot of other things.
All right. So after Portal, was kind of another surprise was a game called I think I don't know how to pronounce this if this is the right pronunciation. It was like Live Alive or Live a Live or something like that.
Live alive, man. Come
Live
on, man.
Alive. Okay, I fucking sorry. Thank you. Live Alive is coming on July 22nd. So this is an old game and they are remaking it in the Octopath Traveler style. This is another Square Enix collaboration with Nintendo. This one, is this another PlayStation game?
I'm trying to look at it right now. See, is it an old game?
Yes.
Nope, it came out on the Super Famicom.
Okay. So it's an old game. 1994 role-playing game.
Yep.
It was on the Super Famicom. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a big investment on old games for Nintendo though. With Square Enix specifically, which I'm finding very interesting, which is making me wonder like Final Fantasy Tactics um is rumored to be getting a remaster as well, and that was from the Nvidia leak, and I'm kind of wondering if like that's coming to Switch, you know?
I can see it come to
Cuz
Switch, man.
has Final Fantasy Tactics ever been on a Nintendo platform? Because I don't think so.
I want to say one of the. I think it was a Game Boy Advance,
Well,
maybe.
the sequels were
Okay.
they had Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and then Advance A2. Those came on
Okay.
Game Boy Advance and then DS, I think. But I don't think the original ever released on Switch or sorry on Nintendo.
I don't think so.
Let's see. Let's see. Final Fantasy Tactics.
Hey, man, this Live Alive game looks fucking dope. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, dude. It looks really good. Some people were saying, um, some people were saying that yeah, it's actually a really good game, and like they're super excited that it's getting a remake.
Like the story looks really good. The animations look really fucking dope. Yeah, I might play this. And I don't really like sprite based shit, but this
Yeah.
game looks fucking dope as shit, yo. Like
hmm
holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think Final Fantasy Tactics has ever been released um on Nintendo platforms. So, which is interesting because the sequels were on Nintendo platforms, which is a classic Square Enix move. For all of us Kingdom Hearts fans, we know that well. All right. So after Live Alive, the next thing they showed is, yeah, dude, this direct was crazy, man. Like, there's so much shit in here that you're just like, huh? Like, where does this come from? So the next thing they showed was Nintendo Switch Sports, which is literally like they positioned it like a basically like a successor to Wii Sports, you know.
Yep.
And you remember like Wii Sports Resort, and dude, I'm gonna be honest though, like this actually looks good. Like, what is happening here? Like, I'm like, I actually kind of want to play it. Like, the tennis looks badass. Like, I don't.
I'm more interested in that soccer. Do you see how
Yeah.
you can kick?
Yep.
Like they might have a strap for you to kick on.
Yep. The leg attachment. Yep. Well, and they're gonna add it later in the year, apparently, like an update, where you'll be able to use the leg attachment in the actual like soccer game mode. Like the only on launch, you're only gonna be able to use the leg thing in like penalty kick mode, basically.
Okay.
But later in the year, you'll be able to use it in like a game of playing soccer, like the full match, you know. So, which I find interesting. So, yeah, it's crazy. They're gonna have badminton in here. which is fucking weird. Volleyball, and then they did this weird thing where they had Koizumi and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but the president of Nintendo. They played like a couple points in volleyball, and it was so weird, but I don't know. It worked for me. I found it funny, so I don't know, man. I mean, you think you're gonna get this?
Oh yeah, 100%. I love Wii Sports, man. I still play Wii Sports.
It is good shit. It brought a lot of people together that probably wouldn't have normally played video games together back in the day.
Yeah. Yep.
So, it is coming out soon as well. Let me get the actual release date here. Actually, they did say too in the summer there's going to be an update to add golf to the game as well, which I think is going to be a really dope
Oh,
addition to this.
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, I know, right? Like, are we hyped for a fucking Switch sports game? But there's
Bro,
no
this
Mii's.
is Wii Sports 2. This is Wii Sports like 2 or 3, I think. This
Yeah,
is
3 technically because there was Wii Sports
yeah.
Resort. But
Yep.
yeah, no Mii's, dude. No weird ass Mii's or anything like that. So,
I will. I'm kind of upset about that. I kind of want the weird me's, man.
you
That
think
shit was funny
so?
as fuck. I
Man,
love that shit. That
I
shit
think
was
they
so
were
funny.
I hated those things, man. I
You
really
did. I
dude.
love them.
I fucking hate
Especially Wii boxing. You gotta fight the black guy at the end. Yo, he used to beat my butt. Yo, he
yeah.
used to beat my ass.
So that is one omission that I found weird. I'm surprised they're not putting the boxing in. I know they have Chumbara, which is like a kind of like a fencing sort of thing, or sword fighting kind of mode. But I find it weird that they're not putting boxing in because I feel like that was the most iconic game from Wii Sports back in the day. So
Yeah, the boxing one. I know the boxing one for me and the tennis. Like my family loved both of those games.
mhm.
Oh, and we used to play. We loved the golf one as well because we used to always play Tiger Woods golf. And then when they came out with this game, like we used to play this shit all the fucking time, man. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. So yeah, it's coming on April 29th. The Nintendo Switch Sports. So, all right. So the next game they showed is a new Taiko no Tatsujin game, and it is a rhythm game that looks weird as all hell. I don't have anything really to say about it. Montrell, you got anything you want to say about it?
No,
All right.
not really.
Fair enough. After that was, let's see. Oh, they showed more triangle strategy. So yeah, dude. I mean, come on, bro. Like this direct was just made for me. Like this is ridiculous. So they showed triangle strategy. I mean, the game looks as good as it's looked the whole time. But they did say, and this is cool. They're updating the demo to allow you to play through chapter 3 of the game, and you will be able to transfer your save data from the demo to the full game once you purchase it when it launches next month. So if you want to get a head start in the game, you can. I'm pretty much decided I will not be doing that. I don't want to split my game experience up like that. But
Okay.
the option is there for you guys if you want it. So yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and do that. The next thing they showed was Cuphead DLC. It looks like more Cuphead. Looks excellent as always. I still can't believe that this is a video game. It's one of the most beautiful like games I think has ever been made in terms of its animations and shit and the art. But have you played? Did you ever play Cuphead?
No, I never got around to playing it. I have it though. I just never got around to playing it.
Man, you're gonna lose your hardcore gamer card, man. Like that.
Yeah, I
That's like
know, right?
like we can't say we beat hard games if you haven't beat Cuphead.
Yeah, I gotta beat it, man. I gotta play that game.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the patience for it. I hate 2D platformers, so for the most part, so I don't know if I'll play it. After that, they showed a Metroid Dread is getting a new update. It is a one-hit kill mode where Samus will die in one hit. And they are also adding a super easy mode, hyper casual mode, basically, to the game. So, and then there will be a boss rush mode coming in April of 2022 as well.
All
So
right.
if you want more content out of Metroid Dread, you are getting it. Then after that, they showed that Earthbound Mother 1 and 2 are coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. More ways for them to milk money off of a series that they've hadn't had a new entry in 20 years, 25 years. You know,
The amount of Mother 3 in the fucking chat. Oh my god, you guys are fucking simps.
mm-hmm,
Just let it go.
mm-hmm.
Now they're never gonna let it go. They're never gonna let it go
I know.
now. Thanks, Nintendo.
No,
I
they
thought we
know,
were there.
dude. They're gonna do it someday. They're gonna do it someday. Like I almost guarantee you, they're gonna do it someday, and the internet will explode. Like literally, like servers will start spontaneously combusting all over the world. You know when that happens, because like they know if they ever have a rainy day, man, and they want to make sure they're in the hype cycle, like to an extreme, they just need to do that. You know, Mother 3. So. All right. After that was a bunch of montages. It was a montage of a bunch of games. Not much worth discussing here that I really cared for. Anything that sticks out to you?
No, not really.
All right. Fair enough. After that was this one has been controversial. So there have been rumors of Mario Kart 9 being in development for a little while now. So Nintendo coming out with this in the Direct was interesting. So they announced that they are going to be doing a new course season pass for Mario Kart 8, and they are going to be releasing 48 new tracks over 6 different waves over in the next year, like 2 years almost. They said by the end of 2023 the final pack will be out. Yeah, by the end of 2023, meaning like the back end of it. So we're talking like 20 months, 21 months probably, in terms of full release schedule, which has making people wonder, like there's a lot of people out there wondering, like, is Mario Kart 9 like canceled?
Never coming out.
Yeah,
It's
or is it like
out,
heavily delayed or something? Because why would they do this otherwise? And I saw this and it's like it's $25 for 48 tracks, or if you have the online, the Nintendo Online expansion pass, it's free as a part of that as well. So that's a way to get access to it. 48 tracks though is a fuck ton of tracks in a Mario Kart game. Like most Mario Kart games have like 16 tracks, I think, right? Like you have four different
somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, meaning that this is like 3 more games worth of tracks in it, which I find to be fucking insane, you know? So
are people playing Mario Kart? Like, I mean, obviously, I say this every fucking month. Every time I see the fucking NPD numbers, yes, people are playing Mario Kart. Like
it
this.
sold 40 million copies or something insane like that. Like it's, or was it 40 million? I don't remember. It was some insane number of copies. Like, yes, people are still playing Mario Kart 8, Montrell. Like, get fucked. Whatever game you're playing, whatever game that I'm playing, I would almost say on any given day, there's probably more people playing Mario Kart 8 than whatever game we're playing at any given time. You know? So, yeah.
That's insane. That's really fucking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it from Nintendo's point of view, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck would I make a Mario Kart 8 or 9 when I can just continue to improve 8?
Motherfuckers are buying Mario Kart 8. Like, yeah, right. Like, why wouldn't we just milk Mario Kart 8 for more money? Like, you know, it's gonna work too. Tons of people are gonna buy this shit. So there's actually another game in the news we're gonna talk about later. This is which is a similar situation. So we'll get to that soon enough. But these courses are going to begin rolling out very soon. I think the first drop is in March 18th. Yes. So, and then they'll probably come every few months after that. So we'll see how they are. They're one other interesting thing I've seen about this though. There are people like comparing the quality of the courses to the ones in the game now, and apparently like they're not really up to snuff. Like they look like shit compared to the other Mario Kart 8 courses. So, which I find to be interesting. There's some people calling Nintendo out for kind of not putting a lot of effort into this. So we'll see what comes of that when they actually launch. So, all right, let's get to the final announcement for the Direct, and this was the most hype shit in the entire Direct. I kind of lost it a little bit yesterday. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was shown, and it got a release window of September of 2022. It was a brief trailer, about 2 minutes long, very story heavy. There was very little gameplay in there. There was a little bit of a couple vistas, characters running through some vistas, but for the most part, it was mostly story focused, which is what they've done with Xenoblade trailers in the past. They usually focus the first one there. I'm sure we will get a direct closer to this game's launch, like we did for 2, where they go into a 45-minute diatribe of how to play the game. So, people, you know, aren't intimidated by it when it comes out. So we'll look forward to that. But Montrell, what were your takeaways from this trailer, man? Are you fucking hype?
Bro, all right, so hype can't describe it, so I'm going to talk in convoys. I was watching the trailer, and what if this? Okay, Justin,
Mm-hmm.
just watch the trailer again, right?
Yeah, I'm
What if
watching
this
right
game? What if this game is like the prequel to X?
now.
This is how they get to the stars.
Yeah.
This is why they go to the
You think
stars.
so? Well, because this is interesting, right? What they said was, because he literally said this after the game, the trailer was finished. He said that this game will tie the stories of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know? And we already know there's a tie between 1 and 2, which I guess this is spoilers for you, but because you never beat 2, right?
Yeah, I never beat 2. I
Okay.
already knew there was
There's a
a
very
tie-in.
brief reference to Xenoblade Chronicles 1 at the very end of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's not much, but it's enough to say that these games are tied together in some way. And this game is supposed to be the thing that ties them all together, right? So we're going to find out what that is. And what I found interesting about this trailer, because something that jumped out to me immediately, was one of the characters in the game, like right away, looks exactly like Nia
I
from
was just
Chronicles 2.
yeah.
Like the voice acting, I think, is almost the same too. Like, so I find that really weird and interesting that they would make that much of an overt reference to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I'm in. Okay, they got me. I'm in. I want to know. I want to know.
Well, not
Okay.
not only that, but correct me if I'm wrong. Do you fight Mechons in 2? Like later on in 2?
No, you don't.
Okay, so
Well,
I think you see Mechons
they're
in
not called mechons. You fight mechanical enemies, but they don't look like mechons. And they're not called that either. But yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. It's an interesting
and it
thought.
looks like in this trailer you kind of see
Yeah. Well,
like the making of them. Like you
yes,
see them.
yeah, you see mechon like entities in this trailer
Yeah.
for sure. Yes.
So what if this game is like, man, what if I don't know, man. What if like 2 is the beginning and then like 3 is the middle and then 1 is the end?
That would be
You make
interesting.
you make the Monado.
The
Like
Monado.
you make the Monado at the end of 3. Like it takes like Rex's blade.
It's like out of order, totally out of
Yeah.
order. That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
And then like yeah, then like I guess like that world is fucked or whatever. And they're like, yeah, it's time for us to go to the stars now. And it's like, yeah. And they like fly off in
Yeah.
space or some shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck yeah, this is it, man.
They like flat. The only problem with this theory is that Xenoblade Chronicles X takes place in our universe. Like Earth is a real thing. Like they left Earth. Like LA was a place. Like remember the main hub in
Oh,
that game was
really?
called New
Yeah.
LA. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
you're
was
right.
New Los Angeles. Like it was literally like the United States was an entity in that universe, So the problem with that is like how do you get from one place to the other? Because one thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is that game is, I think, inherently tied to X in some way because that world was like created from our world. Like it's a world that was made by somebody in our universe, like the
Mm.
Earth universe. Because there's a point in the game where Alvis this is spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which you've already heard some of it at this point. But like Alvis is a character in the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 world. Like he exists in that world and he acts in that world. And he's like an ancient entity within that world. But the thing is, he was the one who existed in our reality and created the reality of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And he like fucked things up. Like he like kind of ruined shit, I think. And like he's the reason a lot of things happened. But it's not so explicitly stated beyond one brief cutscene where he's shown doing some things that connection is made. So it's not like super detailed, like what the connection is there. Like, does the old world still exist? I don't really know per se. You know, it's like it's not really clear. I'm sure some Xenoblade Chronicles like hyper nerds, you know, even though I am one, like have like dug into the lore and probably know more about this than I do. But
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know, dude. There's so many ways they can go with this that I'm just, bro. I'm just, you know, I'm just happy that this series exists. I'm happy that Nintendo is invested in it. I'm happy that Monolith Soft gets to make it. I am happy that they are like pure, like they're just pure JRPG developers. Like they don't, you know, there's some DLC and shit, but when they release DLC, it's like a fucking 60-hour fucking adventure, you know, like in the Torna DLC that they released for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So it's like they're not nickel and diming you, you know, like you're getting content here. And like this is going to be a full ass game that probably has 150 hours worth of content. Like I'm just ready for it, man. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for this world to take me the way that the other games have, where I just fall into it and I'm just so wowed and like mesmerized, mystified. I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I love the style of these games. I love the combat. I just love everything about them. I'm a fanboy. I am, but I'm so ready, dude. I've been waiting for this game for so long. Like ever since Xenoblade Chronicles 1 came out a couple years ago and I replayed it again, then I was like, man, I need Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like I need it, you know. I've been waiting for it. So here we are, dude, you know. Oh man. I mean,
What do you think they're gonna do? What do you think the combat is gonna be like in this
I was
game?
literally just about to ask you that same question. I don't know, dude. I will say what I want. This is what I want is I want it to be closer to 1 than 2. Um maybe in the middle of the two games, somewhere in the middle of the two games cuz I think 2 was too far. They swung the pendulum too far in the direction of
I
like,
gotcha.
yeah, well, not even yeah, that's one piece. Yeah, hopefully that stuff isn't in this game as much. But just the speed of the combat was slow in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I didn't enjoy that as much. I think 1 is much better for me, and X specifically is incredible. Uh
Man, I wonder every day why they didn't go to the back to that combat of X.
yeah. Yeah, let's just go back there. You know? Cuz dude, X, oh my god, X is just magnifique. Like it really is. I think it's peak Xenoblade Chronicles combat, like Xenoblade Chronicles X. Uh, and I do wonder. I don't know if they'll ever be able to top it. Like if I'm being straight up, you know, it's going to be hard for them to do that. So we'll see, I guess. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be bad. Whatever they do, um, you know, at this point, because I frankly I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like the worst it could possibly be, you know. So it really can only go up from there, you know. That's kind of
hmm
where I come down on it. And again, that's not to say Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has bad combat. It doesn't. It's just for this series, it's not what I'm looking for necessarily. I like the little bit speedier combat that the first two games had. So it's kind of what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. They really got a thing
Yeah,
to. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I actually liked two's combat a little bit more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it had a little bit more. I think they did the actual what you call it better in two. It was a little bit more understanding in two. It wasn't a lot more randomness. Because in one, when you do the party, I forgot what it's fucking called.
Like
You
the
kind of
Trinity attack or whatever the fuck it's
yeah, the
called.
Trinity attack. Yeah, so in one, it's really confusing. Like you have the colors and stuff like that. It's not really confusing, but it's just a lot more random. You can't really control it if you get what I
Mm,
mean. In two, when I did the Trinity attack, I can kind of control what goes on, and I know how to
yeah.
do more combo. It's more streamlined into. It's more under. It's
I
way
just
more
think
understanding into.
I think it's funny. I feel the opposite. I think two is like complicated, like really complicated. Whereas one, I actually think is a really simple game. Like it's combat's not hard to grasp, really for me. Like I find it's heavily cooldown based. A lot of your abilities are just timing on when you use them, for the most part. And there's some positioning elements to it, to the game, but largely for me, like once I got it, I kind of got it. I understood how to play, there is
Hmm.
some weirdness with certain characters. Like Ricky is a weird character to use in your party for sure. He's kind of hard to be effective with. Melia has some
Yeah, I was gonna say
advanced
Melia is
mechanics.
really fucking.
Yeah, she's got some advanced mechanics as well, but you don't have to use them though. If you just use Shulk, Dunban, and Sharla, that team is almost unbeatable. Like they can beat anything in the game. Like they're super good, the three of them. So, because yeah, Dunban is funny because he's like a tank, but he's like a high damage tank. He does a fuck ton of damage, dude. Like
He's an evasive tank, man. I
yes,
like
and he's
that.
an evasion tank. Yeah, so he's like overtuned. I feel bad for Ryan because he's like introduced as like the Uber tank, and he's just not as good as Dunban, man, because he just doesn't do that much damage. And he
Yeah,
doesn't avoid anything. So he's all about mitigation. And Xenoblade Chronicles 1 is not a game where you can create mitigation through gear very well. It's mostly through ability usage, and it's just the AI is not super good at it. Whereas with
yeah,
Dunban, bro, I feel like Dunban, dude, he's like my party would be dead. Like it would be just him, and he would take forever to die. Like he was crazy, man. Like he was so powerful. Like he just felt like he was OP, dude. So he'd be like fighting the boss by himself, and he's just dodging everything, like dodge, 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 and then eventually he would die. He'd get hit by something, but he was crazy good. So yeah, whereas with two, I don't know, like two to me was complicated because there was all the shit with the blades and like swapping and the different weapons you would use depending on what blade you were using. And then there was like the different types of blades too, where you had like tank blades, healer blades, damage blades, and they all had different timings on how to time their attacks properly. There's a lot in that game. And it takes a long time for it to ramp up fully as well. So, but again, I don't think it's bad combat. I think it's good, like perfectly good. It's just, you know, I enjoyed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or sorry, Xenoblade Chronicles X combat the most. That game is incredible. I want to play it again. It like it kind of bums me out that I sold my Wii U because I've been really kind of thinking about that game a lot, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and buy a Wii U someday. And I'm like, the day I do that is the day that Nintendo announces a Switch port.
yeah.
And yeah, so I'll just have to take the hit for all you guys. So maybe I'll do that someday. But yeah, September 2022, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is probably going to be supposedly kind of, they're framing this like it's going to be the end of this kind of run of the franchise. So we'll see what comes after, I guess. But Montreal, do you have anything else you want to say on this one?
No, I don't.
All right, fair enough. Uh, so overall, great direct for me. I,
Yeah,
I think this was an
100%.
excellent direct. So all right, fair enough. Let's move on. So, like I said, I was mentioning this when we are talking about Mario Kart. Rockstar has officially announced that they are working on GTA 6. And nobody's surprised by this. However, it is funny to talk about because this is a game studio who has really been milking GTA 5 for as long as humanly possible. It feels like Rockstar has had no interest in making GTA 6 for years, and here we are. They're making it, but do you expect it anytime soon? Because I don't.
No, not really. No, I don't expect it to be showing up anytime soon because it's Rockstar and it's GTA 6. I mean, it took forever for GTA 5 to come out. To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
if you really want to be, GTA 5 came out
It
or
was like,
GTA 4 came out what 2008?
yeah, it was 5 years. There was a 5 year
Oh,
gap,
it's 5 years. Okay, never mind. That's
but
pretty standard.
I mean, we're talking, yeah, we're at 9 years now. So with this game reported to be coming out in 2024, 2025. So by the time that hits, it's going to be like 12 years between games. I mean, yeah, I don't think Rockstar is super interested in making this game. And if they are going to make it, it's really just to update GTA Online to the modern day, so that they can continue to make that microtransaction money. And yeah, that's kind of what I think. So, all right, let's move on, Montrell.
All right.
Ubisoft. Jason Schreier has leaked another Assassin's Creed game. He has always done this. It's like a joke at this point. He's like revealed every Assassin's Creed game since like 3 or something. It's fucking crazy. But so Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out a year and a half ago or so at this point. And Jason is reporting that there is going to be a new game set in the same universe because they were making a DLC for the game and it got too big, and they just decided, fuck it, let's make a game. So there's a new Assassin's Creed coming that is not Assassin's Creed Infinity, and it will be in the Valhalla universe. Montreal, do you care?
No, do not care.
Yeah, fair enough. Me either. All right, let's move on. Okay, our final story for the day or for the week is Platinum Games. So Platinum Games CEO did an interview recently, and he said some things that were a little concerning to us. And his name is Tishi Inaba. And so here's the quote: Project GG is still in the stage of testing various things, so I can't tell you much about it. But when it comes to future game production, we want to focus on creating games that are different from the past. I would like to focus on creating games that can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time. I'm going to end the quote there. There's a few more things said, but that's the main quote that we really wanted to take away from this, and that is an indicator. This has been widely kind of discussed. Seems to be an indicator that they want to make live service games in the future. That seems to be their plan. And with all this stuff, we talked about this last week with Sony, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago with Sony, looking to make 10 live service games or something by like 2026 and stuff. And Microsoft buying Activision, and Activision is a heavy live service company. Um, this is weird for Platinum to be saying, in my opinion, because this doesn't fit them as a studio at all. And it kind of makes me worried that they think this is the only way they can really survive in the future is by making a live service game. But Montreal, what stood out to you about this quote?
So I had a couple of days to like kind of think about it and everything like that, and I put on. I call it now. I used to call it my developer hat. I call it my DJ hat now. Put on my DJ hat. Um, if he's listening. So looking at it from a developer's point of view, and yes, Platinum has made some really good iconic games. Um, more importantly, like the Metal Gear Rising game has
Mm.
been memed a lot now over
Yes.
the internet.
Oh, yes.
But it's one of those games that came out in like 2012, 2013, I think, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even 2015. Yeah, it was
It was
really
late PS3.
it was late, yeah, late PS3 era, and it really didn't sell that well. I think it sold decently, but not like oh my god, 20 million copies in the first fucking week type shit. Like it didn't do that. But that's all of Platinum's games, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Bayonetta 2,
Yeah.
um, even Near. No, that didn't sell right out the gate. That made 5 million over a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Well, also that's
Platinum
Square
does.
Enix. It's Square Enix's game, really. Anyways, like
That's
they
true. Yeah,
made it,
they,
but it's not their franchise. So
yeah, true. They made the combat and everything for it.
right. Same with
Um,
Babylon's Fall, actually coming out soon.
and to be honest, same with Metal Gear Rising. They were kind of contracted to make that game, because the team that was making Metal Gear Rising, um, they didn't know what the direction they wanted to take it to, so they came out with Metal Gear Revengeance, because they contracted that team. They contracted to Platinum Games at kind of like the last minute, and
Mm-hmm.
Platinum Games took this same element of Metal Gear. I'm not going to get into history of that shit. Anyway, so they have always been a weird company as far as like they have the technology, they have the drive, they just don't have the money for it, unfortunately. Um, and being under Nintendo's belt, like they made Astral Chain, another game that's critically acclaimed, really
Mm-hmm.
good, but didn't really sell too well.
Yeah.
Um, so I understand from their point of view, like, hey, we need to get some money in. Like, we do make great games, and we're glad that you guys love our games, but the rest of the audience doesn't. And it kind of took me all the way back to like that weird era in Capcom when they're like, we know what the West wants. This is what the
Mm-hmm.
West wants. And they
Mm-hmm.
started making Western type games. But it seems like Platinum's not doing that. They're making Western type games or like trendy games in their style, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, but then I understand it from the gamer's point of view. Is like, hey, we like you for who you are. Stop trying to stretch yourself thin. I think that's the problem with a lot of companies. A lot, especially video game companies. It looks like they're always looking to expand.
Yeah.
Like just stay with
Right.
one team,
Yeah.
one or two teams, and try to, make a game based off your scope. That way you can make enough money to, pay your bills, go on vacation, and then make another game or something like that, or save
Mm-hmm.
up money, like just make enough money for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it seems like they're always trying to, you know, increase profits from it. I mean, that's every corporation's, I guess, job. But I
Yeah.
don't really look at game companies like, especially like Platinum Games, as a corporation, right? I just think they're a studio, and
Yeah.
it's hard to describe without being like, yeah, they're a company, Montrell. They're supposed to make money. And it's like, yeah, I know, but it's like make money within your scope, if that makes any sense. Like it's like being a small business owner, right? So like you own a small
Mm-hmm.
fucking gun shop or some shit like that, right? And you're like, hey, I'm making enough money to where I can live off this. I'm my own boss. And I like it. And that's how much money I'm making. And
Yeah.
I get some, some firearms, I sell it and whatever. Now you can be that small business owner, right? And be like, I'm cool here in this neighborhood. I have a real good locale. People know me, people know my shop. Or you can be the other side where it's like, I'm ready to fucking expand. I want to take over the fucking world. Yeah. McDonald's style. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like some game companies always want to go the McDonald's style instead of just being like, hey, this is us. And that's
Yeah.
what we're doing, you know?
Right. Well, yeah. So I agree with you. I think this is the reason I'm not super happy about this is because it's the same thing with Sony. Like they're going into realms that they don't really belong in, and they're like chasing a trend that is hard to chase. This is like trying to make an MMO, like this isn't something you're gonna hit probably, like that. I think the chances of success for games like this, like Babylon's Fall, dude, is that game gonna be successful? I doubt it. Like no one's excited for that game. I don't hear anybody talking about that game, and it's coming out in a month. It's like, so I just I'm like you're totally right in the sense that like you can companies are designed to make money, right? They're supposed to always be getting bigger, growing, blah blah blah. But I think in games, I think I don't know. Games are tougher than in this way because it's hard to grow games without risking your business,
Yep.
because that's what they're doing here. Like by expanding into this realm of live service, they're risking their business. Like Platinum is not safe to me. The fact that they're doing this is a sign that they're not totally good to go, with money. And the second red flag I saw was them talking about trying to make Scalebound again, like with Microsoft. Like they're like literally like, "Hey, Microsoft, come talk to us. We want to talk to you about making Scalebound again." And it's like, yeah, they need money, dude. Like they're like literally like begging another corporation right now for money, like publicly. Like that's basically what that
Well,
was, you
that's
know.
that's very interesting too that you say that because I forgot his name, but the guy, the original creator of Devil May Cry, and he was one of the co-founders,
Hmm.
I believe, of Platinum Games. I don't know if he's still with them,
Yeah,
but I know just from the way he tweets and like interviews with him and or interviews of him and everything like that, he's very very hard headed,
yeah.
and maybe like the more this situation kind of put a light on the Scalebound situation. I think Platinum really wanted like some of the people inside Platinum. They love making these games, but I think they're really counting on Scalebound to be like their milk game, right? Like we can milk this game and then fund our other projects.
Hmm.
I'm kind of starting to think maybe he pulled the plug on it. Like he was just like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
This is Xbox. What the fuck? I don't want them. Like, cause that's kind of his personality.
Hmm.
And yeah, he's just always been like that. Like he's a really like it's my way or the highway. I get what I want. I want to do what I want.
Hmm.
Type person. And the change in leadership, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense why they're moving in this direction because he probably saw like, okay, we can't just keep. Yeah, Bayonet is cool, but we can't just keep doing this. Like we can't just keep
Right.
like I think another game they made was one of the they made a lot of third party games or not third party games but licensed games. They made the fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, which was really cool, but like not well received because they didn't know if it wanted to be a fucking RPG or action RPG.
Hmm.
Have a team mechanic. They made the Transformer games, which was
That's
actually pretty
right.
good.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
They made Legend of Korra, which wasn't well received at all because it was kind of rushed out the gate. It was buggy, glitchy, and everything of that nature.
Hmm.
So it seems like they take work as it comes. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, if we need work, we need to do it, and like you know, and I actually respect them for it. I actually respect them as being a double A studio, and I think they should stay in that realm of being a double A studio. But they're trying to be the Bungie, right? They want to be. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's
Yeah.
everybody's
Well,
like
you remember
desire.
you remember when they a couple of years ago they started like publishing games,
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
weird, dude. Like I don't think of Platinum that way. And I don't know how successful that's been because how many games have been published by Platinum that you can think of? I don't really know of any really. So
yeah.
maybe they like scaled back and decided not to pursue it or wasn't very successful for them. I don't know. So because yeah, I just like because I look at Platinum as a very like workman like studio, and I don't mean that in like a negative way. Like that it's a very like honorable thing. Like they do the hard work, like they're the ones mining the fucking coal in the mining shaft, like they build these fucking games and build their combat mechanics, and they do it very very well for the most part. Not every game that they've ever touched has been a hit, but I think they're very competent studio, and I don't. I mean, if this is the evil that they have to do to survive, then that's just the reality of making games nowadays at this size, and that would be a shitty reality to be in. But I really feel like if they're hurting for money, I like man, like you really like I don't. I feel like the industry can't let this studio die. It's like if they're actually at risk, like Sony, come in and invest some money or something, or Square, invest some money in these guys. Like they're worth they're worth it, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know. It it's ominous. I think it's just there's just a lot of shit going around right now. Like Sony is doing the same thing at a bigger scale where they're starting to look into live service games, and I think Sony's seeing a lot of dollar signs in this is I don't like what's happened the last month because this year has gotten off into a crazy start where we've had a ton of acquisitions. We had fucking Zynga get bought by Take Two. Then we had fucking Activision Blizzard bought by Microsoft. And now Sony bought Bungie. And we're seeing all these acquisitions. And it feels like the industry is starting to try to maybe level up in how much money they're making, you know, um,
Mm-hmm.
in a way we haven't seen in maybe 10 or 15 years, you know. I feel like because I feel like from the PS3 generation, the start of the PS3 generation, like that generation was a transition point, right? Like, and we saw it happen live, like we lived through it, right? Where I think the industry was leveling up in how much money it was making because you remember before that, like the industry was small, games were small, they were very contained, they were complete when they were made, and we always like people always talk about this that like I miss when games were finished or whatever, but um, when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 came out, it became different, where suddenly DLC is reality. On disc DLC, we have all these weird microtransaction systems, online passes. The industry's trying to figure out how it can make more money, and I think that stabilized like during the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, like in the mid to late part of the generation, and kind of carried into the PS4 generation, and then it played out through the entire PS4 Xbox One generation. And here we are now in the PS5 Xbox Series X generation, and the industry is now, it feels like they are again starting to search for what is the next way for us to start making a ton of money that we aren't capitalizing on right now, and some of it's multimedia. That's one. I think two is what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass, and the other is these live service games is the other one, really, and for certain companies, those other two aren't really on the table. So if you're platinum, it's live service or nothing, So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I like it. It feels ominous.
Yeah, I wish they would like. I kind of want them to make a very good mobile game just so it can fund money to them. I mean, they made
Yeah.
one, but it's an actual game. It's called World of Demons,
Yeah.
and it's an actual game that's on the Apple Arcade. But it's not like a gotcha game or like one you can milk money out of. And I kind of want them to make some kind of game like that where they get a couple whales and they can just milk those games to fund their projects. Because if platinum games go, that would be a devastating hit, like a
I
really
agree.
devastating hit.
I agree.
It's like action games and everything. Like I feel like they're one of those staples. Like a lot of people don't realize how much they touch the world as
Yeah.
far as action games
Agreed.
goes. Um, they're the golden standard, and if they go, then there is no standard, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, but the thing I like about Platinum is they try different things. I mean, hell, they fucking tried they tried at a fucking space game, which is called Infinite Space. It was a like an RPG esque game that you made ships and stuff like that, and you were flying, you fought other ships, but in like RPG form, you customized them and everything like that. Then you got Star Fox Zero, which we know really didn't go too well, which I kind of blame on Nintendo, but maybe Platinum wanted to do it. They thought they can do the controls better or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I mean, they try their hands at different games, uh, and I really want to say this is funny too because just like a month ago, Grand Blue came out and they revamped everything, right?
Mm,
What if that was like one of their hugest cash cows that all that money they just sunk into the game, they didn't see any return for it because they got pulled off the project? That probably had a major blow to them.
yeah.
So I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
bad for the team. I feel bad for this company because it's a super um talented company. They're very adventurous. They have a wonderful imagination with their games. They have a unique style with their games, and they're unapologetic in that style
Hmm.
of those games. We just don't really get too many companies like that anymore. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested to see if they are a potential acquisition target for somebody. Because yeah, I think they'd be a huge boon to Square Enix specifically. Because Square has this weird obsession with action games, but they're not very good at making action games. So
yep.
they could really use Platinum. Like Platinum is bit like when they work with them, the games are good. You know, like Near Automata is a great game. It has great gameplay. You know, and that was made by Platinum. Um, so yeah, I don't know, but I'm not like rooting for that per se. But if it's that or Platinum doesn't exist anymore, then somebody buy them. You know, like I'd
Yeah.
rather Platinum be around. So we'll see. But I wish them the best. I mean, you know, dude, maybe Babylon's Fall is a hit. You know, a huge hit, and they're good.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
was just
so
thinking maybe it will fill that niche market that Godfall try to fill.
yeah, that's possible. They do look similar in their stylings. So, I mean, and yeah, you've been you know, I feel like your Platinum fanboy is coming out a little bit cuz you've been looking at footage of Babylon's Fall and you're like, I don't know, I might play this."
Yeah, they kind of they that gameplay looked kind of okay. I was like, oh,
I
okay.
will say that footage they showed of that like debuffer character or whatever, I was like, "Okay,
This-
this looks kind of cool. It's just what else is the game though, you know? Like,
yeah, and I think they need to show more of that. That's the
yeah.
problem with Platinum right there.
Mhm.
That right there. They
They
don't know how
always
to
show
show their.
combat. They always just
They
show the
don't.
combat. Yeah.
No, they don't know how to show their combat at all. In my opinion, they
Mhm.
need to get like what's that guy's name? Suhi Legend. They need to get him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair.
Just hire him and let them play your game for a couple. Like I think a lot of action game companies, a lot of action games barely show off like their combat really good. Like
Mhm.
Nier doesn't show off his Nier didn't show off his combat really good. I don't think when they debuted Devil May Cry
Yikes.
5,
Yeah.
they didn't show off the combat because like the developers don't they know how to make the combat, but they don't know how to show it off if that makes any sense.
Well, that's
Like when
why
they
a guy
showed
like
Devil May
Suni
Cry
Legend
5,
is in demand. Like he literally got hired by
exactly.
Sony for Horizon footage, you know? So
Yeah. Cause like I'll give you an example, right? When Devil May Cry 5 came out, or they're like doing a press run for it, this YouTuber, it was a small YouTuber, he actually got a chance to interview um the creator, one of the co-creators of Devil May Cry 5. And he was like, "Hey, so have you heard of this guy named Dunguri?" He's like, "No, I haven't heard of Dunguri before." So Dunguri is like the guy, right? For like they call him mad combo vids or
mhm.
whatever. He was the originator of those. Like he is the guy that you go to when you want to look at like a combo vid. And you're
Mhm.
like, okay, this game has combo potential. Let me see if Dunguri is playing it. And most likely 100% of the time, Dunguri has already made a combo vid. Like he made combo vids for Devil May Cries, all the Devil May Cries, Near, Kingdom Heart games, fucking even what's that game I was just fucking playing? Scarlet Nexus. Like
Mhm.
like he has all these things, and they're like, no, I never heard of this guy before. And they're like, he is the reason why people play like Devil May Cry fans, hardcore Devil May Cry fans. This is the reason why they play the game because they see combos that they can do, and they're like, holy fucking shit. I can do that in this game. And then we practice in the lab for hours just trying to
Mhm.
look like that. So it's like these developers don't know a lot of these developers, especially the Japanese developers, they don't really know the potential of their games because they're like in this bubble, right? And it's like I feel like they should do what fucking the fucking Guerrilla Games did for fucking Horizon.
Horizon.
They
Yeah.
got Sui Legend. And they're like, yo, make our game look great. We know it has the potential, but make it look great. and they did.
Yeah, and he
So
did, man. Like
yeah, he
he
did.
made the game look badass. I was like, what
Ex-
the fuck? So yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think they need to do that. I know sometimes Japan is really slow on as far as like trends and stuff like that and everything like that nature. But they really need. I think as far as platinum games go, they need to advertise their games better because even like Astral Chain, right? I know that has like mad combos in it, but if you're looking at their gameplay videos, you would think it's just like, button mashing games. Because even an article when they were talking about Sifu, they call it fucking
Oh
Devil May Cry.
God, yeah, I saw
Yeah, they
that.
call it Devil May Cry a button masher, and everybody was like, "Have you
Oh,
played Devil May Cry before?"
Jesus
So,
Christ, yeah.
but you can play it like a button masher and like kind of steamroll through it if you play on the easier modes, yeah.
Yeah,
But if you
it's
get
true.
towards the harder modes, though, you can't just spam shit. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll see what happens to Platinum. We'll see how Babylon's Fall does. It's coming out in a month, March 3rd. So, um, yeah,
Really
watch.
competitive month.
Yeah, watch gameplay footage as we get closer to release. I'm gonna be interested to see because like I don't really know what this game is beyond it being an action game of some sort with progression. So, like, I would be interested to know like what is the point of the game? Like, what are you doing? Like what's your goal as a
Bro,
player?
Babylon's falling. What are you talking about?
Stop Babylon from falling. Yeah, maybe. So all right, man. Well, that's our last story. Is there anything else you would like to discuss before we go today?
No, I did have something, but I just forgot just that quick, old man brain.
It's
So
all
no.
good. We had a nice meaty episode today. We had a Nintendo Direct to talk about, and it was badass. So this was a good episode this week. So if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at Thundernut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to playerstake01@gmail.com. That means you, DJ. That's it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week.